And hello, we're doing another live stream. Been a couple of weeks. Ignore my mobile phone as it makes weird noises. So how are we all today? Nobody here yet, so I'll wait. See if somebody... oh look, we've got a notification telling me I'm live. Oh wow. See if anybody turns up. Now if I do that, can you still hear me? Hello, we've got 2 people watching. And how are you today? I know one of them's most probably going to be Eirik, my fellow Viking. How are you? As I put my belt rig on. I've got a different scram this time. I'm using that one. I've got too many scrams and seaxes, but you can never have enough, can you? I should have done this beforehand. So what have you been up to in the world? Do you have any comments, any messages, any question you'd like to ask a Viking? Yes, we are indeed Vikings. I know some people may say we're not, but we are. Are they, in true words, are there anything such as a true Viking in the world today? I mean, we don't exactly go raiding like the Vikings did. But I think it's all about how you feel. I've got no set design or plan, I should say, for this video live stream. So we're going to read some of your comments when they start coming through. I'll say hello as I bend down a bit, or in this case, hi. It's quicker. Hi. I've slightly altered the film studio. Let me just show you. So we can now go around a bit more now and get a bit more of a view. So it goes all the way around there, all the way around there. Got to move this a little bit. And it goes all the way around there. So it's... I have to calculate how many metres it is. Give me a minute, I'll think about that. My 2 stacking shelves. Hello there, Andre. Got some comments here, so let's start reading these. I do love reading your comments. Always excellent. So, Eirik, the man of many axes, telling me I got a connection fail. Let me know if you're still connected. Says, hello, beautiful people. As I adjust my scram, or seax. How's the mighty heathens on this fine evening? Oh, we're very good, thank you, as I wave my seax around. I'm Andre Linarge. Good evening, Bogo, son of Magnar. My secret name, Rigetz. I'm good. You appear to be a young man. And Andre says, good evening, everyone. Andre Linarge says, you're still here. Oh, cool. And we've got 5 people watching. Like I said, I've got no real set idea for this video live stream. We're going to talk about, you know, the latest developments in the world with coronavirus. And Alan and Lola. Hi, mate. Alan here. Oh, yes, I got the messages still. Friend on Facebook and fellow ACWS re-enactor. That's American Civil War, for anybody who doesn't know. Hope you're well. Yes, and I'm going to send you that message and give you kind of a rundown of kind of a list of kit you need to get into Viking reenactment. I mean, the most expensive stuff, well, perhaps we could talk about that. How do you start off being a Viking? How do you start to be a Viking reenactor? Well, the first thing you do, really need to get some kit together. If you're going to be doing it on your own, or, I mean, in this case, we're doing it live on camera and on YouTube. So if you've got a local group, that's great. Find a local group to join, whether the Saxons or Vikings. They're both very cool people and cultures. And, you know, you just start off looking... I like to look for second-hand kit, because I sometimes think that's better kit than brand new kit. And often you'll find second-hand kits a little bit more worn. I mean, some things you certainly wouldn't want to have second-hand. I mean, would you want second-hand boots? Possibly. I mean, boots are essentially a very crucial thing about your kit, because if you're walking a long distance on a camp, or you're doing a walk through a town with a society, then you want a good pair of shoes, you know. I've got some somewhere, I moved them. I'm always moving things. So let's have a look. So I will send you that list, and I'll give you an idea of what you can make. I mean, I do often find if you can make your own kit and get into a bit of sewing, then that's great, because that will save you a lot of money in the long run. And if you can also find some good traders, we will try to get a list of good traders together in the future. Just Problem is there's too many of them. And some are far better than others. So Andre Linard says hi to Alan and Lola. And Andre says, I need a Siax. Well, you know, always handy to have one. I got one downstairs I need to finish off. So I suppose your first bit of kit you want is a good pair of pants, trousers or breeches in the old Viking tongue. Wool is a very good material. If you're looking at making your own, you're going to need probably about 2.5 metres of wool. But that would also get you quite a few other things. Out of that length of wool, which would be, what, 140 centimetres wide, you should be able to get yourself a pair of trousers, a couple of hats, and some leg bindings to go around your bottom of your leg. But I can't really show you that. I'll take that on camera. We've got a Ragnar Lovebrock. Good evening. I'm looking forward to hear some great stories today. Well, I do have a list, actually, of stories I've not told so far. And I've got some more in my mind I've learnt very recently I could tell you. So I was thinking earlier, perhaps we could do a live stream, like a folk tale-a-thon. See how many folk tales I can tell in 5 hours. Would you guys and girls like that? I mean, it's quite unique telling folk tales live rather than recording them. Because when you record your folk tales, your stories, you make a mistake, you can go back, start again, or edit that bit out. But when you're live, you're there and you're stuck. So Andre says, lost you for a bit. Well, we're at 30 frames per second, so that's okay. So we'll see how we go with it. I don't know how long I'm going to do this live stream for. Last time I said 2 hours and it went for like 5.5 hours. So I'm not going to commit this time. It's going to be what it's going to be. What's the quality of the picture like? Are we breaking up? Is it a bit blocky? Alan says, you're still upside down. Why can I be upside down? Shouldn't be. Do I need to flip the camera over? No, I don't. You get me confused there. This is where I need to find my tablet and look on the... I've not got it in here. And Andre says, hello, Ragnar. Well, it must be... No, it can't be upside down because the camera will have self-auto itself. Normally I have that on that side, though, the lead. Let me just try this. Just from the way I'm seeing it, I'm seeing myself as being right way up. No, I'm definitely upside down there. G'day, mate. I'm Bragi from down under. Oh, no, that's too weird. So I'm just messing about with the camera there. I've got the thing on the sound level. This is a wheel behind the scenes. Did that fix it? So how come I'm showing myself upside down when I'm doing it though? I never had that before. Now, is that the right way up? Because to me, I'm upside down on this picture, which is not quite right. I look like I'm a vampire. So is that the right way up? Because that's rather weird and confusing for me because I'm currently upside down on this screen. But I normally do have my lead on that side. So, oh, who knows? That's right for you then. That's okay. I just have to get used to being upside down on the screen. It would be terrible if I did an upside down screen. This is for our Australian friends, anybody down under, New Zealanders. Because I can literally see myself from the screen. I'm upside down. It's a bit disorientating. I keep thinking I'm hanging from the ceiling somehow. I'm turned into Bragi the vampire. Of course, vampires are a much later thing, so they say. Although I do think in Eastern culture they're much older. Alright, let's go back to some of these comments. I'm glad the comments aren't upside down because that would be really difficult to read. Hi Rick, the man of many axes. Hey, you're the right way up now. Yes, I'll have to kind of restart this vlog. A live stream, I can't even get that right. It's been a long day. I didn't have much sleep last night. I'm just too confused about me being upside down on the screen. Yes, Bragi the vampire. Or vampire. I'll tell you what, the other day I watched a video. It was by the police officer from Hello Hello talking about the coronavirus. It's very, very funny. And if you don't know what a Hello Hello is, it was a 1980s comedy show. This is very strange seeing myself upside down because normally I'm not upside down when I got my screen this way up. So I don't know what's going on there. Perhaps it's a bug in the programme. But as long as I'm right way up for you guys, that's fine. Devil Kid 2007. I love your channel as I love Vikings and I find you very educational and fun to watch. Well, that's fantastic. I was thinking about this the other day. What kind of category should the channel be in? Are we educational or are we entertainment? You know, I think we're a bit of both, really. I might actually put a poll out for that. But do you want any more answers on the poll? Because so far I've only got 2 answers, which is educational and entertainment. But we do find, you know, teaching and telling you folk tales and talking about history with a kind of a comedy sense behind the background, because we are naturally very funny. I think it's just the way me and Egil are. We're just naturally funny people. So let us know what you think. What are we? Are we an educational channel? I think we are down on the YouTube page as educational. You can, on your little channel page, you can click what kind of content you make. And we do aim to teach people, you know, because that's a wonderful thing. So how's everybody coping with the old lockdown? It's good to see, you know, COVID-19, damn you. It's good to see us getting slowly out of it, I think. It's nice to see that, you know, some football matches are starting to happen and shops are going to start opening from Monday in the UK, in Britain. And you can now go on holiday, but if you come back, you've got to stay 14 days in self-isolation. I've got a cup somewhere, there we go. Cheers, folks. I'm glad to, if I'm upside down on my camera, I hope my drink don't fall out. That would be bad, wouldn't it? I got the more authentic cup out, although this is much later. Don't think that this is a Viking cup. This is more 12th, 13th century. Possibly what the Anglo-Normans would have had towards the end of their period, before we got into the much later medieval times. So, Eirik, the man of many axes, he says entertaining, educational. Yes, I think they should open a new category just for us. And Andre Linard, Edith. Why am I seeing flashing knobs? You stupid woman. For those who remember, hello, hello. What a great programme. And of course, Heidi High is another good one they made. And Dad's Army. You know, if you've not seen Dad's Army in your life, where you been? I mean, it's on every Saturday in the UK. I mean, it's 50 years old and they still show it. But it is still funny. Perhaps they should have done a Viking version of something. Because they do say if you're going to make a TV series, set it in the past, it's always successful. I don't think that's true. I'm still getting used to seeing me on camera upside down. You're not pulling my leg out, are you guys? I'm not appearing upside down on camera. Oh, got some in my eye then. Oh, we put that in there, I did. I started this drink last night. Do you ever do that? You start a beer and you don't quite get to drink it in the night. You think to yourself, oh, I've had enough of that, I'll finish it off tomorrow. I do. I'm strange like that. Just put a bit of lemonade in it, you got a shandy. Oh, I've got some more comments here, not seen. Oh, what? Go back to these. Andre Lenard says, I got. Not sure what that refers to, but I have to think about that. My brain's not working. And he says again, Prost. Prost indeed. Slangebar. Cheers. It just makes you think. I mean, that would be a very interesting video, all the different ways people say cheers and celebrate having a drink. Rat ale is a typical one for the Anglo Saxon. But there's also another good video on YouTube. If you type in different ways of counting money. And I watched this video about a couple of years ago. It's still in my mind. It's very impressive how different cultures count money differently. I mean, we take it for granted in the UK how we count money out, notes. But different cultures have different ways of doing it. It's very interesting. So I go back to some of these awesome comments from our awesome subs and fans. Andre says, I've got a long walk in the woods last week. After 16 weeks alone indoors, give me a second, got slow, it's scrolled up again. I was starting to think that trees were an urban myth. When it makes you think about trees and ents, it'd be quite mad and wonderful if trees could start moving about and walk about. And Iric, the man of many axes. The oldies are the goodies. Oh, the goodies, another great programme. I like your little play on words there. There is a Viking comedy programme called Norsemen, and it's incredibly funny. Yes, I've seen the first 4 episodes of that, but I don't recall the first 4 episodes. So I'm going to have to go back and start from the beginning and watch it, because I know there's 2 seasons of that. And I think, is it on Netflix or is it on Amazon Prime? I forget now. That's kind of a plug for them, really. They should pay us money to advertise their videos. Come on, Netflix, stop being tight-fisted and hire 2 Vikings. Anyway, Andre Leonard says, I've never seen that one. Yeah, I do recommend it. It's quite funny. Probably the authenticity of it's quite shocking. But you're not there for the authenticity. You're just there for the laugh and the funny moments. And after all, you know, what we've been through in the world with COVID-19, we need to watch some TV and have a laugh. And because laughter is a wonderful thing. So we've got a comment here from Alan and Lola. I saw that you had done some reviews of Viking films. Have you done a review of the Vikings TV series, the one about Ragnar? No, not yet. I still have my notes from 2 years ago when I wrote up my notes for the trailers for the 5 series. And we just never got round to filming it, but we will do. And I think we'll probably look at some of the battle scenes and watch them live on camera, but not show you guys because of copyright infringement. Damn you, copyright gods. And talk about that as well, because I think that will make interesting content. And we also intend to finish off doing the trailers for The Last Kingdom as well. I know we kind of got a bit lackadaisical with the old review videos, but we did quite enjoy doing those videos. I mean, especially when I went ranting on about the backsword of doom. I mean, why do you always have some idiot with a sword on his back? I mean, come on, Hollywood, BBC, let's get real to the world. And so I'm still getting used to me being on camera upside down. This could be a new way to live stream, upside down live streaming. Oh, the blood rushed to my head. So yeah, we will get back to some of those reviews. We've got some other videos to do, and I think I might also do some random reviews of just some random films we like. Actually, here I got a video I'm planning here. It's a video on Egil's top 5 war films. So I'm going to do a few videos with Egil. Perhaps we can talk about that if I've got nothing to talk about later on. So, oh, I'm talking very fast then. I do talk fast. You have to put my YouTube voice on so I can slow myself down. Oh, don't worry about typos. I'm terrible with typos. You don't see my predicted text, and because you don't get predicted text in these comment things. So let's just go back. So Irishman, hi guys, just found this channel a week or 2 ago. Some good stuff on it. Oh, thank you, and welcome to the channel, Irishman. We will be putting out more content. I've still got loads of videos to edit actually from the last year or so, and I think probably in about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, we're going to start filming again. Whether we're going to keep a social distance, I don't know. I know Egil's not washed his clothes for a while, but there's no reason to keep 2 metres away. Although I have been making Egil some more clothes. I've just started on a new tunic for him, the tunic. That's a white one. And I'm thinking about making Egil a leather jerkin. But I got some sewing around here somewhere. I thought if I get bored, I want to sit down, I could sit down and sew on camera. But I'm currently working on a new tunic for myself made out of white wool. And then I'm going to have it with a red collar and some red cuffs and a red skirt section. Actually, it used to be my Civil War sleeping blanket, did that white bit of wool. But I kind of decided I didn't need it as a sleeping blanket. I could just make another one and have a nice white tunic or skirtle. So go back to some of your comments. So Andre Leonard says, hello Irishman. Oh yes, a very warm welcome to everybody. And Devil Kid 2007. I tried making my own mead, but it didn't work out at all. Well, what mistakes did you make then? I mean, I think making mead is relatively easy to a degree. The trick about mead is getting the sugar level right, or the level of sugar from the honey. And I know when my dad made it, he had a device he used to put in the vat of mead, in like the plastic bowl, and when it shows you the level of alcohol. But I got loads of honey downstairs. I must have 300-400 pounds worth in weight of honey. So I was thinking about making some. What do you reckon? Shall we make some mead for the channel? I mean, make a difference drinking cider on live streams. Or in this case, rum and ribena. Oh, fake ribena. Just a generic one. No, I don't need that over there. Yes. Well, you know, if you never made a mistake in your life, as my dad would say, Magnar, you're not done nothing. And mistakes are a wonderful thing, because by making mistakes, you learn. So don't see it as a negative thing, see it as a positive thing, and, you know, try again. Yes, I'll give you an update on Egil in a few minutes. He's not been doing much. He's been currently reading Egil's saga. I'm trying to get him to tell it on the channel. Well, I got into the chat section, so I've got to leave a comment now. Hi, folks. That should be popping up in a minute, hopefully. Or not, if I did not do it right. Ah, there we go. So let's have a look. So, Andre, many typos on my part tonight. Well, don't worry about typos. I mean, most Vikings in the Dark Age couldn't even write, nor read. So, there you go. We're so lucky that in today's society we can read, and we take it for granted. But let's not forget the people that can't read and can't write well, which a lot of the younger folks do struggle with, especially children. So, Irishman says there was a series in the 90s called War, starring a young Heath Ledger about ancient Irish girls. It was more like the Hercules and Xena series than Vikings, unfortunately. I've never seen that nor heard of it. So I'll have to look out for that. I wonder if it's on YouTube. You'd be amazed what's on YouTube. Andre Leonard says maybe Egil has a cunning plan. Oh yes, we could change his name to Baldric. I mean, he's already got the height. Unwashed clothing to keep folk at a safe social distance. Yeah, well, my sister came round some months back last year and we was filming and Egil came down, and a few days later when she came around, she said, "Oh my God, your friend stinks." He said, "No, it's not him, it's his clothes. We just don't wash them very often." I mean, sometimes we'll wash this under tunic, and I'll talk about how you wash it in a minute. There's two options. You can do it by hand, which is probably the most safest option, because this under tunic, you probably can't see. It's got some nice tablet weaving. No, you can't see. Damn camera. So I don't do them in a washing machine. Most modern washing machines will have a wool or a delicate setting for delicate clothes. But never put it straight in the washing machine. I tend to get a pillowcase, and I'll put my under tunic in there, and I'll put a couple of others in a couple of other pillowcases. And just throw some more random clothes in, like a pair of jeans. Nothing that's going to dye though, more than with the dye, because you don't want that. So make sure the big clothes that are not brand new and you've had them a long time. Put some woolly jumpers in there, great. And then put them in a delicate setting. Tie the pillowcase off tight, and then put them in there. And that's a safe way of washing your Viking clothing. If you put a wool tunic in and you have it on a very hot setting, it could shrink it, especially if you put it in the dryer. Never put any Viking clothing in the drying machine, because it will have an effect on the wool, and especially the tablet weave. Oh look, I've got some here. Can't even see what I'm wearing. So, Andre Leonard says, "I'll buy Bragi mead." Oh, marvellous. Yes, one day we'll get a post box. I mean, we haven't looked into it. I think we'll wait until we got a bit of money coming on the channel, and then we'll decide to get a post box, which is about £200 to £300 a year. And then we'll put an address in the description of it. And then you folks can send us fan mail and pictures. You can send Egil a stuffed dog. as the boys from Hell on Earth got sent one. It always made me laugh, that video. Imagine being sent a stuffed dog. What would you do with it? Eric, the man of many axes. If you buy Bragi mead, you become a brilliant poet and get totally pissed at the same time. Ha ha ha. I swore there. Damn. Oh, swore again. Damn. Oh. Bollocks. This one, I promise never to swear on camera. So I'm laughing at myself there. And Penila, hello. Ahoy, Bragi. I saw this live stream while I was changing channels. I was just about to go and get a cold drink, and we'll look forward to Egil's saga. Yes, I'm trying to get him to read it and learn the saga, so we're going to record it chapter by chapter. Whether it will happen, I don't know. because I talked about this before on the channel, is what we call idiots cards, or it's just basically notes for each. Oh, I've got a connection problem, so just hang on a minute. I think there's been lots of connection problems the last few days. I don't know why. I think it's the weather we've been having in the UK. So, as I know, there's been lots of network outings. So just bear with it. So Andre Leonard says, at Penila, hi Prof, how are you doing? Yes, how are you doing? And how's your family? Hope they're all well. And Eirik, the man of many axes, I literally fell over laughing when you swore. Ha 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 ha. It's your fault. Well, my dad calls it wordling instead of pissing. He goes a wordle. And for many, many years, I never knew where it came from. I thought, well, where did that word come from? I thought, is it a word coming from Jimmy Whittle, you know, to have a P? And then I started listening to Around the Horn with Ken Horn, which was a 1960s radio show, as I often find inspiration for this channel from such shows like The Goon Show. And then there was a little song section where Kenneth Williams, the famous comedian and actor, did these little song ditties, and they used to use the word wordle. I'll spell it for you, so you can all use it now. When you go to the toilet, you can say you're going for a wordle. Dad uses it all the time. The good old wordling. Wordle is a funny old word, isn't it? But I mean, I love words. It's such a wonderful thing. I mean, some days I could even speak English. So I'm still upside down on my camera and it's confusing me. I keep thinking my hat's going to fall off. If I do that, my hat won't fall off. I could always change hats in a bit. Well, we've got 12 people watching. How fantastic that is. Now, I know I was going to try to do some live streams last week, but I was quite tired. And we're 2 weeks now into the new care package for my dad, who's downstairs, hopefully asleep now. He's often well known for lying in bed all night, singing his head off, as he loves to sing, my dad. Old Magnar, the Viking. I forget what I'm talking about now. Yes, Eirik says, I will be using that word from now on. Indeed. Yes, you'll confuse all your folks. And don't forget, you also use the Derbyshire phrase across the world, which is "eh up, me duck." Because if you've never been to Derby or in the Midlands and you've never been called a duck before, you've not really lived in your life. Hey up, duck, how you doing? You're crackers, you are. At least not the duck of evil. Yes, it makes you think about, you know, toilets in the Dark Ages. They probably had some kind of a pit with some kind of an outbuilding. But, you know, we all had to go. You know, it must have built up and then you have to move your pit to a new pit because it got filled up with stuff. Of course, it kind of makes you think of the Wild West outbuildings, the toilets they have with the little heart-shaped window. And apparently that heart-shaped window is to let the gas out so you don't gas yourself. But, you know, it makes you think who invented that idea of having a little heart-shaped window in your out toilet building. And of course, you go back 50 years in the UK, most houses would have an outside toilet. So, so Andre Leonard says, I wonder if Wordle comes from Polari. Kelly Williams used a lot of Polari words in Julian and Sandy. Well, I did not know that. And I have seen quite a few documentaries on Kenneth Williams, as he was very interesting. Especially in the Carry On films. I mean, they don't make films like that no more. They should have done one called Carry On Viking. I mean, it's never too late to make one, is it? I mean, I've volunteered to be in it. I mean, bound to be funny if me and Egil in the film. Well, perhaps we might do it ourselves. Oh, we'll do it ourselves. We're going to film now, Carry On Viking. We'd have to go to some places with long ships. And Egil can fall in the water, like Jim in the Goon Show. Yeah, he's falling in the water. Poor old Jim. I wonder how many times he actually fell in the water in the Goon Show. I think the Goon Show was a show, every year we tend to pick a comedy TV series for inspiration. So I'm not sure what we chose this year. It's kind of been put on stop with the old virus problem. But I know we started out when Egil joined in 2018 and we were doing the 2 1Es. And then the next year it was Lon Hardy was our inspiration. So I think this year it's the Goon Show as our inspiration. No, I don't want to copy and paste it. Go away. There we go. Trying to get me to copy and paste things. Andre Linard says on Mastodon, put them away. Put those lights out. Of course, if I did that, you won't be able to see me. I'll be in the dark. Of course, we could test out how good this camera is in the dark, couldn't we? I mean, if I turn these two lights off, you just have me in blue, because I've got a blue light there above you. I've got these magic light bulbs that do things. I kind of wanted to get a kind of a blue tint to the studio, but I bought some magic, some smart bulbs, but they're not quite powerful enough to give that blue hint. So then I bought some very cheap LED lights, and they're not too bad. They've got a blue filter, but I don't think they're quite powerful enough. I need to really invest in some better lights, because I'm currently using, these ones that are a bit big and ugly, as you can see. But they do the job, and that was ridiculously cheap. That was only like 27 quid. And you think to yourself, well, how did the manager manufacture that? Send it to me, make it, and have it as good as it is, because it's got a real decent tripod. So, but we won't talk about that. I'm trying to think about what to talk about, but of course my brain's tired today, and I'm upside down on my screen. This is confusing my brain. As he confused Bragi, put him upside down for a few hours. Oh, the blush will rush my head. That's a song that is by Coldplay. Or nearly a song by Coldplay. Because where are they these days? They used to be around all the time, Coldplay. Now you never really hear of them. If we could have a bit of quiet for a moment. Let's reflect on the quiet. There's always that famous line I often use. Go peacefully amongst the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there is in silence. And we all need those moments in life to be silent and contemplate life. Think, what the hell are we doing? So, do you have any comments or any questions on the Dark Ages? Do you want to know anything? Perhaps I could tell you a folk tale. I learnt one very recently about a magical island. I recorded it, but not edited it yet. I keep meaning to make you up a folk tale on the channel. You just give me some ideas what to make it about. It will revolve around a character called Dave the Cat. You just give me some ideas what you want it to be, the kind of creatures you want to see in it. Do you want to see the undead or a dragon? And I'm sure I can make one up right now, here and there. I've got a good brain, I think. Yes, Chris Martin. Yeah, he's busy living in LA. Yes, I've heard that. Whilst the drummer is still living at Littlebourne, Kent. Oh, right, I didn't know that. So that's from Andre Linard, a little bit of snippet information on the band Coldplay. Eirik, the man of many axes, let's talk about the Duck of Evil. I want to catch it. Does it exist? Is the Duck of Evil real? Is it behind you now, Eirik? I bet you looked there, didn't you? It makes you think, though, what are the most evil birds in the world? I mean, most people would probably say vultures are quite evil. I mean, they can't help it, can they? Going around eating dead things. I mean, you've got to eat. So, we've got a comment here from the Oldlist. Nice to see you. I was enjoying looking at your pictures of Anglo Saxon food the other day. Have you seen the Play for Today film, Robin Redbreast, 1970? We watched it this past weekend. Is it on YouTube? Thorbert? I'll have to try to remember that. I do like watching old films from the 70s and 80s. It's nostalgia seeing the old days, because I can just about remember the 70s. I can remember 1979 and disco music, because my dad had a tape of disco music, which is rather strange for my dad, because he didn't like disco music. So where did he get a tape of disco music from? So, who knows? But I can't remember 1979, Earth, Wind and Fire. There you go. Staying Alive. I'm not going to do the movement or the dancing. That's when we give it up, when I start dancing to Staying Alive on camera. Although I still have that idea in my mind of doing the video of the top 100 dancers. If you type in the top 100 dance moves, there's a guy who does it on a stage. So I thought to myself, well, I could probably download the music, and then we could recreate each dance and put it together in a video. but I think it would be very entertaining. And probably copyrighted on the music, of course. So Andre Leonard says, I just about remember 1978-79. Yes, I was thinking about you on Friday because I wasn't going to watch one of Sinclair's live streams, but by the time I remembered, I kind of lost track of time and it was over. You know, it's the way it goes some days. And that's Paul Sinclair, the channel. Very good, recommend him. So Panada says, at Northworthy Sagas and Stories, I'm back. I had a bit of a disaster. Put a drink to cool down in the freezer and it started to leak. Left it too long. Oh yes. You know, if you put a can of beer in the freezer, it will explode. You should have put it in a bottle and left some air in the bottle. Then you got room for expansion. But then again, there's something very nice about cold drinks. And the oldest says, yes, it should be on YouTube. Robin Redbreast is very similar to the Wicker Man. Well, you can't beat the original Wicker Man from 1973 with Edward Woodward. I believe it was in it. Seen it a few times over the years. There was a new one with Nicolas Cage, if I'm right and thinking. I know it's been recreated in the past, these last few years, people have done it again. So it must be a horrible way to be burnt alive in a Wicker Man. I mean, if you're drunk in the first place, it might not be so bad, but what a way to go. I prefer to die in battle with my seax in hand. I'll put it back. I've got to redo this sheath on this. It always pops out when you're fighting and lands on the floor, which is all right when you know where it is. Have another couple of drinks, Bragi. You'll be disco dancing before you know it. Oh, yes. I do have a supply of 3 beers down there, or 3 ciders. So, I don't know why I like doing live streams and having a drink. I mean, it is Monday. Now, I've been getting rather confused recently about what day of the week is associated with which god. Because I've always thought Friday was Freya's day. But I see a lot of people on the internet say that Frigg or Frigga is the Friday. So which one is it? Or perhaps it's both. Perhaps Monday is Freya's day. I don't think it is. I always believe and learned that Friday was named after Freya. So Andre Leonard says, I love the Wicker Man, but not the Nicolas Cage. Not with Nicolas. No, start again. I just made that out like you don't like Nicolas Cage there. I love the Wicker Man, but not with Nicolas Cage. You may like Nicolas Cage. It was all right. The 1973 one is a bit traumatic though. The sight of Christopher Lee prancing around in a frock and wig. Well, yes, but what a great actor Christopher Lee was. I mean, I'm very sadly missed. I mean, how long has he been deceased now? Died. I get told off if I ever use a word downstairs by my father. If I say, oh, he's died, he told me off for that. I just get it from the channel on YouTube. It's the Aqua Chigger channel. Whenever he sees something dead, he'll go, point to it, died. I've got a funny brain, stuff like that. No, I do not want to paste on clipboard and copy things. I hate it when it does that. Right, go back, there we go. So Panada says, Northworthy Sagas and Stories, that's me, hello, I'm Bragi. True, but I forgot it was just a folk old beer, which is just 3.5 from the shop. Anyway, anything stronger here, we'll have to go to this Star Store. They treat us like kids here. Oh, that's so wrong. I mean, you're not far, you're younger than me, but you're not far off my age. You shouldn't be asked about ID. Yes, so Tajali, I think Friday is from Frigga. Yes, I think that is right. Old English is Friggadig. This is quite interesting when you watch the transition from Viking words to Anglo Saxon words. And who's that chap I've been watching recently? Did a very good video on the transition of the words. It will come back to my mind in a minute. I can never remember things when I need to. I know Eirik, Man of Many Axes, knows what I'm on about. Perhaps I've just been completely wrong there for years, thinking that Friday was Freya's day. Because I always thought Monday was Frigg's day. We've got Gadget Man 404. Hey, buddy, how's things? Things are very good. Groovy, actually. I'm a bit tired. That's my life, really. I've been tired for years. You just get used to it. No, it's not Dr. Crawford, Tijal. It's the English guy who's doing a degree in archaeology. He's about early 20s. I just can't. Is it Roper? That's the last name. May not be. I'm thinking now. But yeah, if you've never seen Dr. Jackson Crawford's content, it's very, very good, but he won't make you laugh often. But you will learn a lot of information from his channel. Especially anything about Norse mythology or the Sagas. He is definitely the guy to... Jack Roper, yeah. So Andre Linard says, I thought groovy was Egil's word. Well, it fundamentally is. He's been using it for years. I think the first time I met him, he said, groovy dude. For a minute, when I first met him, I thought he said gravy dude, but he didn't. He said groovy. Of course, gravy dude could be a new saying. And of course, we used to hang about with a Viking called Wavy Davy. You love gravy. So, Gadget Man 404, good camera. Oh yes, this is the new Samsung S20, so I think it's really good on the live streams. The reason why we stopped doing live streams about 6 months ago was we did one and the quality was very, very poor. And as a professional channel, don't laugh. We do try to do our best. So I upgraded. I went for a 3-year contract. So I'll probably pay this camera off halfway through this phone. It's purely just for your guys. I mean, I don't need a new phone, but I do need a decent phone for live streaming. Oh, wicked, we're at 100% battery now. So Panada says, Al is what we call beer here. Ladies don't tell age. Laughs out loud. Oh no, they don't know. It's very rude of a man to ask a lady their age. As far as I'm concerned, all ladies are 29 years old. I typed wrong state store on liquor store. Hate going in there. Makes us all feel like children who are sheep. Meh. That's my sheep impression. Tajale says Andre Linard. I studied Anglo-Frisian language as a minor. Aha, hence knowing some old English. But it is very close and very similar. I mean, Frisians and Germanic languages. But then again, so many other words go back to Proto-Germanic. So there's no real coincidence of that, really. I mean, that's the way it goes. So Aldrich says the G in Fligdig was pronounced more like a Y. Yes, that's one of the things I always find difficult about reading the language of the past is some days letters read differently. And then I have to contemplate in my mind now how to get a Y with a G. That's, I've never been great at speaking, to be honest with you. It's because I had a speech impediment, and I guess that's always held me back to a degree. But I've done a lot of reading over the years, so, that's probably paid off to a degree. I mean, I certainly read enough to do a degree. I mean, I got that many books. I'm currently reading the book on, what am I reading at the moment? I've just read a book on Anglo Saxon culture, and I'm reading a book on Anglo Saxon childhood, which is very interesting, looking at the archaeological evidence and the written evidence. So, Gadget Man 404, and wait, laughs out loud. And Panada at Northworthy Sagas and Stories. I just realised ale is what the English use to call beer as ale, yes. The spelling is just different. Ale. Well, yes, of course they are. But ale is such a wonderful word as well. Hashtag ale. It's far better than beer. But I also like the word grog. Grog is such a lovely word, but more associated with a spirit drink rather than a beer drink. Because there's a song about all for me grog, my jolly jolly grog, all gone for beer and tobacco. So I spent all my tin down at Sidegate drinking gin, and now I'm off away for better weather. I love that song. Got it in my head now. Damn myself. Getting songs in my head. That's one of the things I always do to Egil, is always hum the theme tune to the I can't remember the TV series. There's a TV series from the 70s. I think it's the Sweeney. And I always humming the theme tune just when he goes, and then he'll shake his fist at me and say, "Damn you, Bragi! You got it in my head now." I've been doing that for years to Egil. Do. That's all I got to do. Just the 2 first notes of it, and that's it. It's in his head. I've even done it on text. It's a funny life I live. Yes, Panada says, Bragi, yes, I agree. Ale is a much better word. It is. I do like a good pint of ale, but you can't really call cider ale, can you? I do love a good bitter. But the thing about bitter and beer, you know, it's like trying to find a good woman or a good meal or a good restaurant. You have to try a load before you get to a good one. I know that's no real example of beer, ale, but, you know, there's nothing worse. You get a pint of beer, you know, you have your first swig. You go, oh, bloody hell, oh, horrible. And then you realise you've got a pint left. And you've got to drink the damn thing. And you think, oh, God, how am I going to drink that? Bloody awful. That's the bottom of the barrel, that. It makes you think, how old is that phrase, the bottom of the barrel? Because let's face it, barrels of ale are very old things. I suppose if you've got the bottom of the barrel, you must be low down the table. I mean, I'll be too high up the table. I'll have the top bit of the barrel. But just give it the barrel. That'll be enough for me. I could probably drink a barrel. So let's just go back to some of these comments. I do love reading your comments, and we've got 11 people watching, so that's fantastic. I think we're now 900 hours away in our watch time to being actually a YouTube partner, which I think is fantastic. It's certainly been increasing these last few months, and I think doing the live streams has really helped as well. And it's nice to see. So Gadget Man 404, hope your family are well, buddy. Yeah, I have been meaning to text you. I message you. I've just been very busy, Gadget Man. Have you managed to get yourself your AdSense sorted yet? If not, you have to come round and we'll try to sort it together. And if you don't know who Gadget Man 404 is, he is a man from Derby, or a little bit lower Derbyshire, and he flies drones. And we are going to do some Viking combat with him flying some drones around us and filming it. So if you go and click on his channel, I'll give you a shout out and go and subscribe. And I'm going to edit some videos for you in the future when you bring some more around. I've got some more ready for you. So I've done 2 videos for him, edited. It was quite nice to have a change from editing my own videos. You know, anybody want a video to edit, just send it to me. I'm quite happy to do that. So Andre Leonard says, going back to Paul Sinclair, you didn't miss anything on Friday. The stream had no sound from the beginning and totally crashed after 10 minutes. Oh, right. Yeah. Well, what are the chances of that? Oh, did you do one every Friday, I take it? Or was it every other Friday? So, Eirik, the man of many axes, one of my fellow Viking brothers, the secret to life is sampling. Ha, ha, ha. Well, I think the secret to life is that life is a measure of experience. You go from one experience to the other experience. Have a good time, not bad times. Think happy. You know, you only live once each lifetime. So, Gadget Man 404, no buddy. And then he says, Gadget Man 404, hello. Cheers, buddy. That'll be good. No problem. And any help you need with your channel, just let me know. I'm more than happy to help anybody on YouTube. If you've got a channel and you're struggling, you don't know how to do YouTube, make content, or you don't understand the metadata, the tags, I'm more than happy to talk. I'll give you my time for free. After all, you know, YouTube is a lovely community, and that's what we're building up here. So, Andre Leonard says, drinking a barrel reminds me of a song, Swords of 1,000 Men, by Temple Tudor. They were terribly underrated. Now, I've heard that name, Temple Tudor. I have. I swear I have. I'm going to have to try to remember that now. I need to have a notepad so I can write things down to look up after these live streams, because I probably will forget. So Andre says, yes, he does weekly. Oh, cool. I must try to get onto this Friday's live stream and say hello again. I did enjoy the one I watched about 3 weeks ago. I did a live stream straight afterwards. And he does have some interesting content. So Panada says, Bragi is looking for a lady. Yes, I am on Tinder and plenty of fish. Although I'm failing very, very badly. I mean, I could go on the perils of dating for ages. It's also a nightmare these days. I mean, people don't talk to each other. So, you know, somebody clicks yes on you and you say hello. Some days I used to leave a long hello and say a few things. But now I tend to say hi there and see what happens. But then again, you also get these people, I guess it happens to ladies as well. You get men and ladies trying to get you to go to another site, which is awfully bad. I mean, that is not what dating's about. I can actually see the attraction of arranged marriage, actually, because at least you meet somebody, you get married, and hopefully you have a good one. You know, you don't want a bad wife, do you? A bad whiff in Anglo Saxon. But I kind of thought by now, being as old as I am, and some of you guys know how old I am, I'd be married by now with children. I thought I'd be having loads of banes running around, loads of children, but no, not happened yet. I mean, you know, I'm still quite young. Whenever I talk about that, it always reminds me of the joke about the 75-year-old who, you know, one day wanted to have sex with his wife, and so his 2 sons lifted him up and put him on his wife, and it took 5 of them to get him off. That's bad Bragi. Shouldn't tell such bad jokes on the line. So, I think Caroline Emmerich, this is carrying on from Pinada's comment, who is pagan, Anglophile, would suit you, and she's single, and Englishman, pagan, is her top priority. Yes, I have seen 1 or 2 of her videos, and I used to subscribe, but I didn't really found the crowd she used to hang about with that friendly when I went in some of her live streams. So perhaps I need to go back and say hello and re-sub her again and give her another go. As in subscribing. Wait a minute, I've got to decline this. So I'm getting a phone call then from Stuart Benton. He's a friend of mine. I'll have to explain later on that I was doing a live stream. This is where I need a second phone. Oh, I could have phoned him up on camera. That would be awfully unprofessional. Because he's probably wondering now why I declined his phone call. Normally we talk about sharks to me and Stuart. He's got a thing about sharks, you know. And of course, you know, Vikings used to eat sharks. You know, it's a delicacy, I believe. I never had shark. I don't mind tasting shark. Because one of my favourite books was Jaws. But if you never read the book Jaws and you've seen the film, completely different ending. Not going to ruin it for you. No spoilers on this channel. Well, maybe a few. I've looked some more comments. Yes, so dating is a nightmare. Some days I can just give up on dating. You get fed up with swiping right and nothing happens. I've been out with too many witches. Perhaps I've been cursed in my previous relationship by a witch. That's why I'm single still. But then again, there's always that saying, you know, if you go out looking for a girlfriend or looking for love or whatever you're looking for, you don't find it. But then you stop looking for it. It just happens a lot. But I don't know. So let's have a look. Go back to these random comments. I do talk about random things in these videos. So Andre Linard, I'll be turning 51 next week. Oh, happy birthday next week for you. I mean, 51 is still very, very young. I wish I'd had the experience I have now when I was 20. Well, yes, I mean, that's another thing about age and getting older is that you cannot buy experience. No money in the world can buy experience. Well, somebody can, but in the general sense of experience and life experience, you cannot buy it, you know. And live each moment, live each day. Seize the day, as Walt Whitman said, the famous American poet from the 19th century. So, Panada says, at Andre Linard, I bet you would. And you would be worn out by now. Laughs out loud. And she put another laughs out loud just for good measure. And Andre Linard says, Edward Tudor Pole got in H90 hot water for wearing the royal standard on his jacket for a top of the pops appearance, until he pointed out that he had every right to do so. Well, of course he has. We live in a free world, I think. Well, we should live in a free world. I mean, freedom, that's all we ever want in life, to be free. I mean, what does it feel like to be free? I don't know. So, Andre Leonard says, being a direct descendant of Henry VIII, I think Egil's related to Henry VIII, so you could be long-distant cousins. How about that? Gadget Man 404 in Japan, laughed out loud. Oh yes, the new care package is going great. Gadget Man, we're all nice carers. Because the previous care company had very nice carers too. I read it as Henry VII. He meant Henry VIII. I was reading ahead of myself there. So Andre Leonard says, I haven't dated in 20 years. My last girlfriend told me at the end of all things that she was going to curse me. I think she did too. Well, curses can be broken, and you never know what's around the corner. You know, you could get up tomorrow, go for a walk in the nice wood and meet some lovely lady. Although I don't know how many men go walking woods and go and chat up ladies. I mean, should probably be walking the dog or something. Wofsky. But you never know. So Panada says that Andre Leonard, yes, happy birthday, Mr. Gemini, for next week. Yes, a very happy birthday. What day is it on? We could do a special live stream for you. I could sing you happy birthday and ruin the song. Andre Leonard says, thank you, Panila. It's a long way off to my birthday in December, when I'll be another year older. And I might actually remember how old I am. A couple of years ago, I was getting my birthday wrong. I kept thinking I was something when I wasn't something. So Panada, so at Bragi, so Egil is a Tudor Welshman. Well, possibly. Yeah, I am that age this year, and I know I don't look it. You know, it was a lot. It was being vain in the 1990s and using lots of moisturiser. Now I use dermal cream. But I realised I could do a good shave today. I think I need some new razors. One day I will grow a beard for you guys. I thought about doing it, you know, when we get to like 10,000 subs, I'm going to do a poll. Should Bragi grow a beard? I have two options, yes and no. It'll be a bit daft having half a beard, wouldn't it? Or perhaps I could do some options of what design of beards. A lot of beards are actually named after American Civil War generals. There's a bit of a fact for you. I could have a Lincoln beard. I always thought they looked a bit stupid. So, Saturday the 13th. Yes, well, Saturdays are always a little bit difficult to do live streams, so as I'm on my own with my dad. Although in theory I could, when he goes to bed about 7, 8 o'clock, pop on camera for a bit until he gets up, which is normally about 3 or 4 hours. So I've certainly got the time to do it. I can't really do it in the daytime because I can't abandon caring for my dad. You know, he's important. You know, somebody's got to make him tea and puddings. He loves a pudding. Why do old people like sweet things? Anyway, random comment there for you. Of course, in the Dark Ages, you didn't like sweet things. You most often didn't get old. It was very rare to get old in the old days. I mean, do you think about life expectancy? So, Panana, Bragi, and correct you, you don't look your age. You're very young and handsome looking. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, you really are, and have a good soul. I've got a very old soul, I think. It costs nothing to have a good soul, isn't it? You know, let's all be kind to each other. You know, if we all be kind and show love to each other, we could have a wonderful world. So we've got Kaiser Wolfred. Hi, I'm a Dark Age re-enactor in southwest England. Have you got any advice on Anglo-Dane costume, as I'm trying to base my impression on that? Well, you certainly want a Dane axe. You certainly don't want baggy trousers. So you want some kind of a good fitting trouser. Wool, of course, is the best material for trousers. A couple of good under tunics. A lot of the clothes are quite generic, so it doesn't matter too much. I mean, what kind of status are you showing? Are you poor? Or do you have a bit of coin? If you've got a bit of coin, then you can afford to have better quality wool and some better quality linen, like this one, a bit of yellow, a bit of blue. And it's often about the smaller things you carry in your pouch. You know, you may have some coins, some pewter ingots, or you know, a spoon and a bowl in a big pouch. It's all about building up those small things as well, which often add to that impression. Because, you know, a lot of people, you know, they go to the reenactments and they see the battles, which are great, fantastic to take part in. You know, I do have a video to edit from years ago for the channel. I'm going to put that on for a special, sub-special at some point. I think maybe even me and Egil might do some narration over that. But it's often about the small things. You know, if you sit down on camp with a bowl of stew, with a bit of good broth, good Anglo Saxon food, and you've got a lot of public going around, they will watch you eat food. And many a time I've done reenactments, I sat down and with a bit of bread, you know, outside my tent, and you get a lot of people watching and asking you questions over sort of simple things. So it's often about the most simplest thing. And then you want to decide, well, have you travelled as a Viking or as an Anglo-Dane in this case? Have you been to Denmark? Have you been a Viking? So if you've been a Viking, then you would have more chance of having more quality silverware and quality clothes. So it's often about, so you're meant to be a free man. So as a free man, you would have coin. You will probably own some land somewhere as well. So it's about the small things, I find, rather than the big items. You often think about axes and swords, shields, but it's often the small things that make your impression. You know, think of a good name. So I hope that kind of answers that. Certainly want a Dane axe and a good bearded axe. I mean, would you be wealthy enough to own a sword? A good lance axe might suit you. I mean, a lot of the weapons were very generic and they travelled, you know. Don't forget, you know, there was a vast amount of trade back in the Dark Ages. So, you know, axes and swords and lance axes would have travelled around. There would have been, you know, the blades alone would have been traded. And, you know, a good blade of a good axe or sword is worth a lot of money. As it take a lot of time to make. So, and Kaiser Rolford says, and welcome to the channel. So, I'm based in Devon, part of Drakkar. Oh, right. Lovely part of the country. We all love a good Devonshire cream tea. So, I mean, do you need any patterns for tunics? I'm more than happy to help you with patterns. You know, the current pattern I'm making is 32 inches by 46 inches. And that is the basic under tunic. So I can help you with patterns, patterns for hats. I've got loads of patterns for hats. So if you find me on Instagram, I'll put my Instagram name for you guys. So anybody wants to add me on Instagram. And don't forget, there is a link on the community page for my Facebook as well. So I'm more than happy to talk to anybody. I mean, and spread the knowledge. You certainly want, you know, a good wooden bowl, wooden spoon, or a nice horn spoon. I like these kind of pouches, or these are kind of a Frankish design. I love these. They're sort of diverse, and I've had this one, what, probably about 20 years now. I've got no idea what's in it, to be honest. Oh, not a bolt. Very useful. I like them this way up rather than this way up. I kind of never finished this one off. It was a bit rough around the edge, but I kind of liked it like that. So I got patterns for them for you. So if you need any patterns for any leather work, so that's very, very easy to make. All hand sewn. So I'm more than happy to help any way I can if I give patterns. And you know, I mean, I'm not an archaeologist, Egil is, so he's probably more of an expert than I have. But you know, I've been doing this for over 20 years, so you do pick up a lot of information. And then just generally speak to your group. If you are in a group, speak to them. Are you in a bigger society? Because, you know, bigger societies like Bragi Anglorum, you know, they have some excellent knowledge. So Kaiser Wolfie said, I got most of my starting kit, but patterns would help. Right, well, if you add me on Instagram, I can send you pictures of patterns with some, I'm an engineer, so they're very well drawn out. And I'm more than happy to share that knowledge. Because, you know, this kind of knowledge should not be secret. It should be in the open. And it is quite daunting when you first start sewing, you know. I am building up to do some sewing on camera, and I've been sewing quite a few things up around somewhere. Yeah, there's a sleeve. That's a rough pattern for a sleeve. So, and that'll be doubled over. This is my new one I'm making. I'm fairly certain Thorbert will like this one. This is going to have red cuffs. And a lot of it's about experimenting, having a go. It's far better to hand sew things than machine sew things, because you get a lot of greater satisfaction. You know, and don't be afraid of sewing something up and think to yourself, well, that's not quite right, and unstitching it and doing it again, because that will give you even more practice. I mean, some days you do have to unstitch something. I mean, if you want a pattern for a pair of trousers when you haven't got one, well, you get a pair of trousers, your Viking trousers you don't use, and you take them apart. That gives you the pattern, and then you get to sew it back together again. Which is also a great thing to do on camp, because people will sit around and watch you sew all day. You know, and sewing wasn't just a lady's job, it was also a man's job. You know, if you're going a Viking, you're on battle, and your kit splits and you need to sew it, well, you've got to have the ability to sew. So everybody would have had some needle and thread in their pouch. So let's go back to some of your comments. So I hope that's useful, and yeah, just so either add me on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll do what I can to help. I certainly got patterns for cloak. You certainly want a good cloak. Cloak is very essential. I like a double line cloak. This is a single line cloak, so it's just one material. But I like a double line cloak. Don't really have one around here. Oh, no, I don't know. Most of my kit's stored in either nest bags, leather bags, or in plastic boxes, because I've got a lot of it. And then, you know, just try to get the smaller things, you know. Think about your wolf. If you was a wealthy Viking, a free man, then you would have had some coin in your pouch. And you would have gone out with some silver ingots. Now, naturally, you can't fundamentally afford to buy silver, have it melted down into ingots. The best way of doing that is to buy scrap silver from a jeweller's. You'll pay, what, £5–10 an ounce? And then go to an engineering firm, make some ingot pattern so you can melt it into it. I used to use mine out of wood, but because silver has a much higher melting rate than pewter, it will destroy the form of the ingot. And then you also got to think about, well, you know, there's different designs of ingots. There was actually a Danish design of ingot, if I'm correct in saying, which is more rectangular with a cross on it. I've certainly seen them before. So, no, you're more than welcome, Kaiser Wolfrid. Let's have a look at some of these comments. So Panada says, at Kaiser Wolfrid, you are in the West Country. I was visiting Professor at Bristol, and I saw today the Antifa and Black Rioters pull down a statue of Edward Colstan. Pure madness, very sad. Yeah, so I was thinking about talking about that whole situation. I mean, it is terrible. I mean, what's wrong with people when they do protesting and they get violent and go mad? Why can't we keep protests to be peaceful? That's what a protest should be. It should be a peaceful thing. When you're going out, you're doing violence. That's not a protest. That's a riot. There's a vast difference, you know. So, Eirik, the man of many axes, Brother Bragi has helped me out so much with advice and tips with my kit construction. So he is the dude to go to. Where's hail? Well, you're very welcome, Eirik. It's my pleasure. It really is, from the bottom of my heart, to help you guys out. You know, and girls, let's not forget the ladies, as Egil would say, woof, woof. So, he always says that. That's how he ends his text. He'll just end it, woof. I think he was a big fan of Blackadder. Oh, I need to get a drink. I'm getting thirsty here. I've got to think where my bottle opener is. Today, I'm sampling an old Mount Cider, pineapple and raspberry. Established in Nelson, New Zealand. Oh, I didn't know this was from New Zealand. I thought it was Scandinavian. So there you go. Well, I'm going to pour it into a mildly authentic holder. Of course, one of the things we often forget about our kit and having on a kit is a bit of some source of light. So it's having a basic beeswax candle. Very crucial thing to have in your pouch But let's face it, you know, you got to light an evening somehow. And then also having a bit of wax for working on thread. There you can see this has all been worked. It's got done in a mould. And you've got all these lines on it. You can see them. That's all from me putting thread through it to wax the thread up. It's quite a nice job. But the problem with wax thread, it can tangle up a little bit more than normal thread. That smells nice. The gods are truly blessing me today with beer. So Eirik, the man of many answers, woof woof baby, ha ha. Yes, his favourite. He'll probably have it at his grave. It'll be here lies Egil Thorsson, groovy. He was a Viking dude. Woof woof baby. And that'll probably be his gravestone. Hopefully many years from now. Perhaps by then we might be able to freeze him and bring him back from the dead. I don't mean as a Draugr, the undead. Appleganga and above Walker. And Andre and Leonard, Penila, those people annoy me greatly. And they do annoy me greatly because it's a terrible thing what happened to George Floyd. And let's not forget a man was killed by a police officer. It's a terrible thing. If you've seen the video, it's shocking. Not the first man, you know, to have died by the police. But there's no excuse to go around tearing down statues and acting like a bunch of idiots, is it? I mean, that's, you know, not a good idea. You know, let's have some respect for society. And this is what gets me about American history at the moment, where Americans are tearing down all these statues. I think they're currently going to be tearing down a statue of Robert E. Lee soon. And you think to yourself, well, that's just crazy. I mean, it makes me really mad because, you know, yes, these people represented bad things in the past. The Confederacy represented, to a degree, some bad things. Most Confederates did not own slaves, though. A very small proportion of Confederates had slaves. To the average Confederate, it was never about slavery. It was about the rights of the states and about the dominant North. But to go around tearing down your history, that's just a stupid thing, that is. Because how do we learn from history if you tear it down? You know, it's like just wiping out World War II. Let's just wipe out World War II and tear down every statue and forget about it. Well, we're going to forget the lesson, aren't we? So let's not do that. Let's remember the history, remember the past. You know, all those Confederates who died in the American Civil War, well, you know, they were fighting for something they believed in. And they should be respected and remembered. You know, it doesn't matter what side a soldier is on. You know, a soldier is a soldier at the end of the day. There's a very famous song by the singer Donovan called Universal Soldier. And if you've ever heard that, it's a lovely little song. I do know it off by heart. I was quite well known on camp for singing that song. I won't sing it to you. But, you know, it's just terrible, shocking times we live in. And this is not the first time we've seen riots across the world. You know, no doubt we're going to see more. You know, to protest is a given freedom and a given right of people. To stand up against something you don't believe in, something that is wrong and injustice. But to use that as an excuse to go around causing riots, having fights and tearing down statues is just appalling. But let's not, you know, dwell on such negative things. Let's think about the positive side of things, and that as a species we're going to become better and we're going to learn. Because if we don't learn, we don't become better. If we don't become a higher species, the next level, we're going to be doomed. We're doomed. So, oh, hello there, Atropa Boaidana. I saw your comment earlier, not long left a comment on your comment, and I'd like to just say welcome to the channel. And we will be telling some more folk tales of the Banshee. It's a very interesting subject. Though that was only a very brief video from Egil I put out last week. We've all looked to make a much longer video talking about the folklore of the Banshee. Banshee. Can't speak some days. It's tiredness and being from Derbyshire, I don't think it helps. I mean, you can go up North Derbyshire and you meet people there from Derbyshire and you can't understand what they're saying because they're speaking a very old Norse dialect. It's very interesting and fascinating, but it's like being in another country. Andre Leonard says, Captain Slackbladder. Oh yes, what a great series, and they should bring it back. So, yes, Andre Leonard says, gyrogenic Egil, yes. We could freeze him in a massive tube of glass. Although there is a company at the moment working on cloning people, so that if you're mega rich, let's say you're a billionaire or a millionaire, it'd be nice to be one, doesn't it? You can clone yourself and send your clone to work and then have the day off. And that's true. There's an American company actually working on that, putting a lot of money into it. So Andre Linard says it's also not reported that prior to these latest riots, police vehicles were dropping off pallet loads of bricks in the streets. Oh, really? I mean, are they doing building work now, the police? Are they that desperate? I mean, they're certainly, I think in the 90s, I heard an urban myth, this may be an urban myth, that a Viking reenactment group, and it may have been the one I belonged to, was invited to take part in testing the police riot shield wall. And of course, they all got dressed up in the Viking gear and had shields, and apparently they trashed them. So, and Atropa Baladana, thank you for your welcoming me. Thank you for welcoming me. It's nice to find this channel. Well, it's nice to find it too. You know, been what, 2.5 years. 2017 we started with the former host, Egil Thorsson. I texted him last night. He was okay. He's been enjoying. He's now on YouTube watching content now. He's got a smartphone, and he's been enjoying watching a lot of 1980s Europe rock music. He's very much into his heavy metal. Is Egil Thorsson, and I do recommend his early content. Although not as good as the content we film now, because the camera wasn't very good in those days we had. And one of those things that really annoyed me and stressed me out was the fact that we didn't have a quality camera, and months and months and months I just was stressed about that. Because, you know, you're making content, you're putting a lot of effort into making your content, you want it to be good, don't you? You know, you want it to be the best you can. You know, 8K, here we come. We can actually film 8K on this camera, but it's a bit difficult to export the videos to your computer with the videos not showing up. And I've got to figure that out. I think I need a memory card for this phone, maybe. Although I did beat the system. I did beat it by uploading the 2 videos from the phone to YouTube, which I now got to download the 2 videos from YouTube to my PC so I can edit the 2 videos. Because that was the first one I shot or filmed with one camera there and one camera over there. Because the idea is we're going to have a close-up shot of the face just to break up the format of the videos. So, I know it's always a pleasure, and you know, it's always a pleasure, say that again, to welcome people on the channel. And we all try to do that all the time, even though if we do get lots of comments, you know. I kind of do dread the fact that one day we're going to get thousands of comments every day, but we will try our hardest. There's little tricks we can get around that by having generic comments built for us, and we can just copy and paste them. So, Andre Leonard says, the only friendly YouTube group I found. Well, there are 1 or 2 friendly channels out there, you just got to search. But there are a lot of trashy channels and a lot of channels that just make really mundane content. And you think to yourself, you know, there's me working on some really, what I don't think is mundane content. I think our content is very clever and very forward thinking. But you do some days struggle to think, well, why are they filming this rubbish on YouTube? And you've got to compete with these people. But it's nice to see our views going up on the videos. We're getting about 100 at the moment on the average video. So Panada says the cops were holding him down as he was hooed on drugs. Video has emerged of him dropping 2 packets white powders, not just for fake cash. 3 days earlier, white cops did the same on the white Asperger's, no looting. But that's always a problem. It doesn't matter who the cops pick on, it's always very bad. I mean, to be punished for taking drugs is an awful thing in modern society, because all you're doing is criminalising people and not actually dealing with the problem. You know, they should be asking the question, well, why is this person doing drugs? What can we do to get the person off the drugs? You know, get them onto some better drugs, perhaps. You know, I mean, people don't understand that taking drugs and getting high is a generic thing to a degree, because man and woman have been doing that for thousands of years. You know, ever since we learnt what plants can do what for us, you know. And believe me, there's lots of plants you can go to your garden centre, will get you high. Not that I know about such things, but I just know about such things. But Panada says, cops were out of line though. Yes, they were out of line in that video. It's always difficult to determine what's happening when you see it from one side of things. But the fact that, you know, somebody died from a result of that, awful, awful thing. And, you know, let's hope the memory of George Floyd is remembered as a positive thing, and a positive outcome comes out of this, and we can start becoming a better species, you know. The last time I looked, there's only one race on this planet, the human race. I know that's far-fetched. I'm a far-fetched thinker. I'm ahead of my time. I should really belong in the 22nd century or something. You know? Oh, I want to have a time machine and go forward a bit. Or even back. Yes, I'm looking for my cider. I'm thirsty now. What do I do with the bottle? So we've been live streaming for 1 hour and 20 minutes. I'm not sure we're going to beat a world record, which is, I think, 5 hours and 20 minutes. I think it was 5 hours and 19 minutes, if I'm correct. I'm sure one of you guys would know. And has anybody seen Thomas? If you're watching Iric, send Thomas a message. That's Thomas Dale. He's a very good friend of the channel. Now, I very recently promoted some of you guys to admins. So I know Andrew Leonard is now an admin. And so is Benila. It's not showing up on this comment. Normally you get a little box with a spanner. So I have promoted a few people, including Iric, as I do need good admins on this channel. And if you don't want to be an admin, if I make you an admin and you don't want to be an admin, just message me. Unadmin. Let's start again. Unadmin me, please, Bragi. That's a mouthful, that is. That's a tongue twister. So Iric, the man of many axes, I will message Tom shortly. See how our brother is doing. Yeah, I do worry about Tom. Hope he's okay. These are tough times we're living, and we all need a good friend now and again. We've got a friend, you know, a friend in need is a friend indeed. That's a song from the 90s, that. Placebo, that's the band. Andre Leonardo's I'm a Spanner. All right. I'm more of a, you know, adjustable spanner. I'm very flexible. Andre Leonard says, let me rephrase that. Okay, well, wait. He's going to rephrase it, folks. Hang on. Makes you think how old the spanner is. Probably something that goes back to the 17th and 16th century, I would have thought. The thread and nut isn't a new thing. So Irishman says, and these are very wise words, don't put yourself down, Andre. Laughs out loud. No, don't. We can always big each other up. We're wonderful. The human species is a wonderful thing. We're wonderful people. Every one of you guys are wonderful. And girls. And don't forget that. We're all special in our own little way. All unique. There's only one of you. You know. Can you imagine a world of Braggies? A world of Egils? Oh yes, so you may see it on... Yeah, I can see it there. So I have the little spanner icon here. Yeah, I can see it. Because I got two lots of messages. I get the messages on the live stream messages from YouTube, and then I get the messages on the app I use, Streamlabs. So I kind of see it twice. Although the Streamlabs messaging system is far better. I get to see them a bit more clearly. But it's a pleasure to promote some of you guys to admins, because it helps the channel out, and especially when we go big and the channel does go viral. Eventually, I think that will happen. I think it will blow up. It's just a matter of time. I mean, last time I checked, we had 535 videos, I think, on the channel. Now, I did check the other day on Social Blade, and our 5-year projection has gone down a little bit. It was at 57,000 subs for 5 years, but it's now gone down to 53,000. But no doubt it will go back up. I do find that quite amazing that they can predict how many subs we're going to have in 5 years. But, you know, they get all the metadata and they look at the things and how many comments you're getting, how many subs you're getting, and they can calculate such things. But I do think that is an underestimation, you know. One day we may have one of those play buttons on the wall. Maybe the bronze one. Is it bronze, silver, gold? Gold's a million. But is silver the 100,000 one? It's a long gap between 100,000 and a million, isn't it? This should do one for five. This should do half a gold one and half a silver one for 500,000 or something. Well, there's an old saying, give us an inch and they'll take a mile. Wonder where that comes from. So Panada says, an African once told me, don't give us an inch. We are on a different timeline. We will kill you. Just want to have a good time, dance, and live for free. And we are 2,000 years behind in development. Oh. It makes you think, you know, where we're going to be in 2,000 years' time. Hopefully I'll have a good burial mound by then. I mean, I don't think I'm going to live that long. It'd be mad though, wouldn't it? Live 2,000 years. I mean, imagine all the experience you'd do. I mean, 1,000 years would be middle-aged. Then you could be immortal like a god and live forever. So, Andre Linard, Panada, at least he was honest. Well, honesty is the best policy. They do say that. And Panada, to me, at Northworthy Sagas and Stories. So, on more fun stuff, what's the Egil saga all about, Bogo? Well, I'm trying to get Egil to read it again and then start writing notes up so we can tell it chapter by chapter and build it up on the channel to either publish it all in one go or do it as a series. And I've actually bought myself another copy. Because the copy Egil's got is one I brought him. So I bought a copy just to do that and write up the idiot notes for him for the names he can't remember. Now, whether it will happen is another thing. As I said to Egil in a text the other day, start doing some research on key characters from the Dark Ages and learn some stories beforehand. Now, we'll see whether that will happen. But he's got to get his, you know, his ass into gear. You know, that's second. And get a little bit more advanced with the how we produce content rather than just turn it up and filming there and then. We need to get him to be learning in advance and getting some information. Like I said, it's very difficult for Egil because he doesn't have access to YouTube. So he can't watch himself, he can't learn from his own videos, and he can't go to other channels to watch how they do things. So that must be very frustrating from his point of view. But I'm working on it. So Andre Leonardo, I thought we could rename Egil Eggy. Well, the other day I was watching some of the auto subtitles and he came out as Major Egil Thorsson. And sometimes he turns out to be Egil Thorsson. And often when I try to do his name in predicted specs, it comes out as Evil Thorsson. So that could be at least 3 different characters of his. Evil Thorsson, but evil Egil. He would have thick black hair, as in the Sagas. Because the Sagas always talk about men with thick black hair being rather evil and bad. Makes you think, doesn't it? I have one of them in the family. He's got black hair. Now, moving on from that one rather quickly. So, Eirik, the man of many axes. If I was given 2,000 years, I would finally have time to learn how to knit. Ha 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 ha. Oh yes, I mean knoll binding. That's a wonderful thing, but I never learnt it so far. A lot of finger movement. I am good with my hands and my fingers, you know. I'm quite called, you know, ambidextrous. I think that's a word. I can use both hands. That's many years of me working a lathe. So, give me a second. I need to have a side table here so I can put my drink down. When you work in the lathe, you'll be operating this and operating that at both hands, working to microns of a millimetre. So it's probably why I'm good with both hands, because all the years of practice working a lathe. So Andre Linard, Eirik, I might be able to learn the drums given 2,000 years. Well, we can all hope and pray. It'd be nice to have 2,000 years to live. My God, think of all the beer you're going to drink. I would say all the women too, but that was probably bad. I said it now. Don't. So, go back to Panila at Andre Linard. Yes, 2 years later he killed with some others a whole Boer family in South Africa by burning them alive. All right, not a nice way to go. And Andre Linard's Bogo and Eggy sounds like a 1960s folk duo. I think it was Thomas who said I was on about getting Egil on a guitar at the beginning of an intro to a video, and we're going to call ourselves Garth's uncle or something like that. I'm sure if Thomas is here, he'll remember. Egil was in a band in the 1970s. He only joined it, you know, for the ladies. But that's a different era in history. I mean, I was a baby. So I've just got a picture of Stuart from Family Guy now in my mind. So, Kaiser Wilfred, have you ever been to the Battle of Hastings reenactment? I have heard it's an amazing experience. Yeah, I think I did one. I only did one, but it's a little bit, from being in Derbyshire, it's a long way to travel. And I used to have a kind of a motto that I wouldn't travel any more than 150 miles to a battle. And then that kind of got reduced to 100 miles when times got hard. But it's definitely worth going and, you know, seeing the vast amount of people. But you will get a few thousand people there. But then I've been in battles when there's been 30, 40,000 people. And you think to yourself, well, how do they organise that many people when they've got 3,000 cavalry and 200 cannons and you know, 30,000 infantry? An amazing sight to see. Truly is. Although I don't think you'll ever get that in Viking reenactment because I don't think there's enough of us. So Panana says, I'm tone deaf. He said that. I went to the doctor's the other day and I said, doctors, there's something strange going on with my hearing. I said, I've got a bit of sponge in this ear and I've got a bit of jelly in this ear. And he said, oh, you're trifle deaf. I promised to be the last joke I tell on this channel for the day. Trifle deaf. So, Andre Linard says, Peniler, what a shining beacon of humanity he was. And Andre Linard, I went back. I went to the Battle of Hastings reenactment, but I got something in my eye. What was it, an arrow? Oh, you put that there. But it must be bloody painful having an arrow in your eye. But will that kill you? Depends how far it went in, of course. I mean, don't forget, arrows are shot at a long distance. So by the time it landed on your eye, it could have gone a few hundred metres. So would the force of the energy be less? I'm probably sure it would be. I'm no mathematician or scientist, but and of course they always debated whether it was true, whether Harold did get one in his eye. I mean, it'd be even worse to get one in your neck, because that's a lethal blow unless it missed your jugular. But you know, we don't really appreciate how badly people died in the past. I mean, it's bad enough being in a modern war and being shot. At least you die relatively quickly, unless it's in the stomach and you bleed to death for hours and hours and hours, calling for your mother. Mother! So, so Panala says that Andre Linard, he told me the truth, but they raped the two children and said, well, that's terrible. Not reading that. But terrible things have been done by people in the past. But let's just become better and not do such bad things. But it's like we were talking about the other day in the comments about the long walk. You know, was it something that was practiced by the Vikings? I mean, I think with the Blood Eagle, there's only 2 accounts of the Blood Eagle in written history from the Dark Ages. There's certainly more accounts post-Viking Age of the Blood Eagle being done to people. But I do find it quite difficult to really get round my head whether they did a long walk, and the long walk is where you cut your lower intestines and tie it to a post and make somebody walk around it until your guts come out. I think there needs to be more research and more evidence of that, say it's true or not. But I think that would make an interesting video for Egil to talk about, whether it's true or not, rather than just talking about it. So, Chunky Monkey 55555. Hey, hey! Hey, Chunky Monkey, how are you? Hope you're keeping safe during the old lockdown. And I see we're slowly getting out of it. Oh, yes. I might better go for a beer in 6 months. I mean, in a pub. I'm missing pubs. I'm missing going out and meeting my friends on a Wednesday, which is my regular beer day, and have a meal with Thomas. Nice steak dinner. Can't beat a bit of cow. Bit of beef. Can't beat a bit of bully. So, Andre Linard says, I think the long arrows picked up velocity during a descent. Well, yeah, I think that could be true, actually, if you think about it. I think that's why they fired them up in the air. Yeah, because if you fire an arrow straight across, it'll just go down to the ground and won't go as far. So in order to go really far, you've got to get height first before it starts going down. But you know, it makes you think. But surely somebody must have studied arrow flights and science and done some, you know, some proper work on that. It's been a long time since I shot a bow, but I used to do archery as a child under a guy called a teacher called Mr. Sketchley. No, Mr. Sketchley. A long time ago. I was a lad then, of about 12. I got the bow over there. It's my brother's bow. Stephen, that's my brother's name. Hello, he won't be watching this. So, Chunky Monkey, hi Bragi. I'm doing well, thanks. Hope you're doing well as well. Well, also, why do I always read comments wrong? I don't know. Yeah, I'm doing good actually, yeah. Been a good few weeks. Been doing a bit of sewing, a bit of work in the garden. Managed to film quite a few videos for the channel. So, I've been going outside whilst it's been a little bit quieter with the road traffic. So I hope you enjoyed the experience of seeing me outside. I've got some more videos to edit from those videos. And one of them is really spectacular. It's at the beginning, I start out and it looking quite dark. And the light kind of gets lighter as I walk towards the camera. The camera we use is really good. And I'm just building up, learning some more folk tales. I go out probably this week and record 3 or 4 more. And then I've started editing the Monday morning series videos again, the 2-minute history videos, as I've still got quite a few of them to edit. So you will be seeing some of them in the future. But I'm going to start going out recording some intros and then get Egil to do the main body of those videos. And they're always going to be short videos then. After all, they're called 2-minute history videos, 2-minute history Mondays. The idea was to have an introduction, maybe a bit of B-roll footage in between me and Egil, and do some brief explanations about things. So I can't speak there. So, Panada at Bragi. Oh, the Long War certainly did happen, but it was the Christians who did it with a convert or die. Though the Blood Eagle was written by Christians. So that's debatable. That's one of the problems, is that the pagans did not write things down as much as Christians did. And of course, Christianity, we get, you know, a one-sided view of things. But yeah, it certainly did exist, but how much it was practiced is another thing. And because we just don't know these things. It was certainly probably practiced into the 12th and 13th century more than it was in the Dark Ages, I think. But, I mean, were the Vikings that brutal? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it also depends on the individual. You know, no 2 Vikings are the same. So, Atropa Balayadana says, hi, Monkey. Andre Leonard, Stephen, son of Magnar. No, he wouldn't actually be. We've got different dads. So, no, he wouldn't. He's my half-brother, Stephen. He's 10 years older than me. Don't see him much. I've got another brother called David. I did have 3 brothers, but one of them we don't speak to no more. He's not a pleasant person. But that's always a problem in life. There's always people in your family that aren't so nice and are very selfish and greedy. But ignore those people and get them out of your life. You don't need people like that in your life. So Andre Leonard says, let's read some more of your comments. Oh, Eirik Manamaniac says, hey Chunky. And then Andre, going back to his comment, the Blood Eagle seems pretty questionable. A little how the Romans invented the wicker man sacrifices. I've always thought the wicker man sacrifices go back further in time in history, but I could be wrong there. And we'll have a comment here from Martin Hale. So hello Martin, how are you? Hope you're keeping safe and well. And he says, hi, could I ask you a question about the Battle of Hastings? Well, of course you can. Fire away, Martin, and I'll do my best to answer it for you. And if I can't answer it, then I'll write it down and answer it in a video in the future. I'm more than happy for you guys to give us questions for videos or video ideas. You know, if you want us to film something, you got an idea, you think, Bragi, this will make a great video idea, let us know. It's your channel as much as my channel and Egil's channel. You know, it's our channel. You know, anybody can appear on this channel. Just got to have some Viking kit. So we've got 14 people watching. Oh, that's fantastic. Actually, 14 is one of my lucky numbers. Mostly because I hung around with the 14th Brooklyn. So, well, it's gone down to 12 now. We lost 2. Goodbye. Goodbye. That's 2 goodbyes there. So, Andre Leonard says, aha! And then Martin Hale, now he asks a question about the Battle of Hastings, and he says, what would you think if Harold won it? Well, if Harold had won the Battle of Hastings, then would we have had the Norman Age, the Anglo-Saxons, the Anglo-Normans, I mean? Or would they came later on and invaded again? It's an interesting thought, that. I think society would be much different because we wouldn't have that massive Anglo-Norman influence on society. You know, and it did have a massive influence on society, and especially into the later medieval times. I mean, that kind of was a pre-step to those ages. It would be very interesting to go to another parallel universe and see what would happen if Harold did win. And then there's always that debate: did Harold actually survive? Did he die on a battlefield? I know there's some accounts that he was hacked to death in the battlefield and not shot by an arrow, which I find interesting. But I think the Anglo-Saxon age would have continued in a much stronger fashion. Although certainly the Anglo-Saxon age did continue after 1066. The Normans did not wipe out all the Saxons. You know, they got them to join them in their society. Very much like how the Vikings joined Anglo-Saxon society, and they all kind of merged in. So it's a very interesting question. And I think it's a very interesting question for a video. What would, history be like now? Now, I was watching the Marvel film the other day. It was the last one, when they go back in the past, and he'll talk about how changing the past does not change the present. And that's an interesting concept on its own. So if Harold had won the Battle of Hastings, I mean, I always thought they should have formed up with the Vikings and all came down south and kicked them out of England for good, the Normans. It's why I like killing Normans on the battlefield so much, because it's so easy to kill and it's fun. I don't like killing Anglo-Saxons as much as I like killing Normans. Of course, it's pretend killing. We don't actually go around killing people. It'd be a bit bad, wouldn't it? And I'll probably be behind bars now, But it does make you think. I'd be quite interested to see what Egil says on that. Because I think Egil would have some more thought, because Egil actually studied Anglo-Saxon culture for his degree in archaeology. So I think it would be very interesting. But I think we definitely have to sit down and talk about that in a much longer video rather than a live stream when I can't always think, because I've got too many things on the go. So, yeah, I'm going to be thinking about that all night now. So I love thoughts like that, because it does make you think. And Harold was, I think he was underestimated to a degree. I probably just unlucky he died in the battle. So I do partly believe he may have escaped and survived and then gone into hiding. And so what would have been the point of that? Because he couldn't really come back and be a king, because he never would have got William the Conqueror off the throne by them. And because of the way the Normans worked with the propaganda as well. I mean, we forget we see these things from a Christian point of view, because the Christians wrote them down, and they're very much one-sided. Now, I did go to France, and I have seen the Bayeux Tapestry. Very worth watching, worth going to look at, and it's worth studying and looking at it closely, because you do see some very unusual things. I'm still upside down on my camera, and I don't understand it. So Andre Leonard's done. Brothers are best cut off. I have one like that. David, he's a total arse. Arse. Drink. Sorry, I'm just doing the Father Jack impression then. So yeah, well, yeah. I've always said in life, little bit of advice for you. When it comes to friends, it's always best to have 10 good friends, rather than have 50 friends and 40 of them are not so good to you and negative and bad. Choose your friends carefully. When your friends often make better family than your family. I mean, family should be everything. Loyalty should be everything in a family. But so many people these days are just selfish and greedy and think about themselves. And Chunky Monkey says, 1066 was a tragic year, if you ask me. Yes, it was. And it certainly changed history of Britain for good. The Anglo Saxon culture would have suffered from that point onwards. And eventually, although, Anglo Saxon never disappeared in a way, but in a way they did. We lost that, the amount of evidence. I mean, look how much information we lost with manuscripts being burnt from the Dark Ages. I mean, what a terrible sacrifice that is. I mean, Henry VIII got a lot to answer for burning down old monasteries and getting rid of a lot of this information. So Andre Leonard, this is on Harold. If Harold had won, we would still retain the old English traditions and folk tales. The French destroyed ancient English culture. It was a great tragedy. Yeah, I think that's a very good way of putting it, really. But let's not forget, the Normans were basically Vikings. And they came from a Viking culture. I mean, of course, they change. I mean, the Normans were so lucky, really, to survive because they had such a small part of Normandy and they kind of beat the odds, didn't they, in many aspects. So Eirik, the man of many axes, Andre, I also have a brother like that. Yes, I know. Nasty piece of work. He is. He's like a bad smell and never buggers off. Well, just get some air confectioner and spray when he comes around. That'll make him go away. Oh, you got it in my eyes. Well, because you smell. Bad brother. Martin Hale says, do you think we might have been more a Scandinavian sounding country? Well, possibly so, because, the Viking Age probably wouldn't have ended so early with the Normans. We forget that as well. Although we often think, the Viking Age ended in 1066, where in fact it really didn't, because the Vikings were still raiding, parts of Scotland, into the 11th and 12th centuries. And then it kind of died off then. I guess the Vikings became Christianised and they decided no longer to go raiding as they used to. And they probably didn't need the land so much. And of course, let's not forget, Iceland was populated in the late 9th century and there's a vast amount of land there, as well as Greenland. So, Andre Leonard, Germanic and Frisian would have been big influence on Old English. Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, so many words come from Proto-Germanic. And if you ever want to learn how to speak Anglo-Saxon, I do recommend Learned Old English with Sevin. Very good channel. I'm not watching his content for a little bit, but must go and watch it. So Panada says that Northworthy Sagas and Stories. Hello. I thought I would remove the comment you thought was not readable, and then I vanished. Can anybody read this? Yes, I've just read that. I never ever ban people or censor comments on this channel. The only time I would censor a comment is from a troll. I mean, we had one a few months back when basically saying that one of our videos was very autistic, and I thought that was an offensive comment, so I hid him. I don't ban people, I just hide them when they're generally a troll, and I think we've had no more than 3 or 4 trolls on this channel. Not that I'm inviting them to come and join us. And of course, we've got a tradition, or whenever we get a troll, I'll always put out a folk tale about trolls, because they always do very badly in the folk tales. It reminds me of that story about the troll's ale. It's a lovely little tale, that. So, Andre Leonard says, and I'm going to read this out of respect of Father Ted. Feck, arse, girls, nuns, reverse. So, and Eirik, the man of many axes, says, I love my brick. I love that episode. The one when he goes into that little nunnery of all these old priests and have to go and break him out. Father Ted. If you've never seen Father Ted, you've not lived. I'll write it down for anybody who wants to watch it. Have you seen Father Ted Penila? Father Ted. We'll have to pick that one year as our inspiration. I've got a monk's outfit somewhere. I've never worn it on camera really. And Andre Leonard Penila, you're still here. Oh yes. And Chunky Monkey 55555. Maybe one day a real troll might join. Well, we're doing quite lucky really, because I'm quite well known on the Xbox and the PC Java edition of being a Anarchy Minecraft player, which is, you don't know what Anarchy Minecraft is. It's basically no rules, you can hack. I do use a hacking client on my PC to play that game legally. And I do have a reputation in that game. It's probably one of the reasons why I've not done so many live streams the last week, because I've just been on the Xbox chilling out on this Anarchy world, lava casting the hell out of it. If you don't know what lava casting is, you do get a bucket of lava and a bucket of water, and from that you can make really giant ugly cobblestone monsters, and it really upsets people. So if you ever go to my gaming channel, you'll see I've done a lot of Anarchy Minecraft content. It's just one of those games I like because it's just the freedom of choice. Because I don't like playing a game. I don't play games often on the Xbox. I use it more for a media player to watch YouTube and iPlayer and Netflix. But I don't like to be dictated by a game where you've got to go down this path and you've got to do this and do this task. I want to do it when I want to do it, not when I'm frigging told to do it. Pardon my French, but I find that really irritating in games. So, yes. When I'm upside down on this camera, I don't have a very hairy top lip moustache. I need to have a shave tomorrow. One day I'm going to grow a beard, just for you guys. So, Martin Hale, have you tried Bannerlord? No, I've not. Not heard of that. And we've got 13 people watching. Maybe unlucky for some, but I think 13 is a lucky number, me. Martin Hale says, or Mountain Blade. Yes, I have tried the Xbox version of Mountain Blade. Quite enjoyed it. Was thinking about doing a video series on Mountain Blade, but I was waiting for the Viking Conquest pack to come out, and I don't think it's ever come out on the Xbox, as I kind of left PC playing to go on the consoles. And I know I'm too used to having a little control unit rather than a keyboard and mouse, which I just find too awkward and too 1990s. So, very good game. I do recommend. I mean, I keep thinking about getting Egil to play some games. I know the last time he played on a computer was in, I think it was 1978. I've got a strange memory for remembering such things, but yeah, so you might see some gaming content on this channel if you've got a Viking theme to it, or a Dark Age theme. So Chunky Monkey says, I fought an epic battle where I killed a rebel Viking warlord by throwing a spear I picked up off the battlefield and hit him in the gut. Well, that's a great throw. I've never really got into that game too much to get that high in it, because I normally get about 40 to 50 troops, and then they get butchered in a battle and I'm back to square one again, or I get captured by somebody. This is the way it goes, you know, but it is a very good game. There's some very good medieval fighting games out there, but there's also some very bad ones as well. It's a pity Bev Esda had never done a medieval fighting game, because that would be very good if you like the Fallout series or Skyrim. So Andre Leonard says, Monkey, was that in a game or real life? Well, I bet it would have happened in real life. There you got, you know, you often, I mean, you got that scene from Troy, the film, when he picks up the spear. I mean, what a great film that is. I'm going back for a drink. Probably when you talk for 2 hours, you get a bit of a dry throat, and I still can't get my head around. I'm seeing myself upside down on this camera. I hope when I go back tomorrow, when I make this public, I'm not upside down. Because I've got no idea how I could change that. I suppose I have to re-edit it to be the right way up. Oh, that's something to think about. So Chunky Monkey says, yes, I invaded East Anglia, and it was very tough, as basically all the Christian kingdoms declare war at once. Well, they do. Christians stick together. They're like glue. We used to have a vicar live next door, but she's moved house now. But she found out I'm a pagan. And the house is up for rent for £2,000 a month, which is ridiculous, you ask me. It's like a church. It really is. You look at it from the rear side of the building, it looks like a church. What it's missing is a bell, a tower, and some stained glass. Yes, that's the problem with real life. It's a bit boring because we don't have these adventures, you know. There's no Wild West these days. You know, you can't go jump on a long ship and go raiding and die in battle, as a good Viking should do. And do you not think there's a lack of adventure in life? And that's why often we find life to be a bit boring. So, yeah. So if anybody wants to invite me on a real Viking raid, I'm up for it. But I might find it a bit hard to do whilst being a carer for my dad. I have to take Magnar with me. I mean, I'm not sure they could accommodate on a long ship carers and on a man of nearly 90. Yes, got a drink up. I've got 2 more beers to go. I'm a slow drinker at night. I don't know why. I mean, I tend to, you know, I don't drink every night. I'm not a massive drinker. You know, I like to drink to honour the gods. That's my excuse. So, you know, I'd open a can of cider or bitter and put a bit of lemonade if it's bitter or cider. And I could take hours and hours to drink a pint. I don't drink to get drunk. I just drink because I want to have a drink of something nice, refreshing. You know, you can't drink tea all day. I mean, I know I'm English and we love tea, but, you know, it's a bit, you got to have a beer now and again. You know, it's a very, very old thing, drinking. I always say, you know, drinking is the national sport of England. You know, let's face it, you think about it, it's our national hobby, drinking, really, if not the UK. And we do have a bit of a reputation, don't we, for going abroad and getting drunk. I mean, I got that drunk once. I slept in a salt box. I mean, it's a yellow box full of salt, and it was snowing, and I was lost in the middle of Lincolnshire. I didn't know where I was. What do you do when you're lost in Lincolnshire? It's snowing at 2 in the morning. Well, you go and find a salt box and you sleep in that for a bit. Yeah, it's another story to my life. So Chunky Monkey says, laughs out loud, Might and Blade Viking Conquest, chest it out if you have like 2,000 hours free. Well, I probably spent a lot more time on Minecraft than 2,000 hours. It's about the only game I really play, really, now and again. Chucky Monkey said, you can go into town, so comments gone down, and trash it like a riot. Oh, yes. You know. Riots on the, panic on the streets of London. Andre Linard, this is the most entertaining live stream every time. Well, we like to be entertaining. I mean, one day, hopefully in 2-3 weeks, we might see Egil on a live stream. Somehow I don't think you're going to get him to come out at night and do one until 3 in the morning, because he likes to be in bed by 11. He's old. Old people do like to go to bed early. Well, some of them do. And Andre Linard says, I have many 3 hours. Well, you know, that's why having a hobby is always a good thing. And when I get tired and a bit bored, I've got free time, I end up doing sewing. I mean, I could sew now. I've got to start sewing this sleeve up. I need a little table. A beer table. Sorry, let's just build a bar here. There's room in this room, it's big. Yes, Egil has done some live streams. We have a playlist. It's called Past Live Streams. I think we've done about 20 to 30. So you all see them. They're not going to be as good quality as this because that was with the old S6 camera. So, but like I said, my plan is to get him over on a Friday. Probably starting off every 2 weeks. Because he seems reluctant to come and do much work. You know, well, he's 65. He doesn't want to work hard. Who does when he's 65? But the idea, we're going to have a day on Monday filming together to get most of our main content out and done. And then Friday is going to be Egil's day. which is also about, sorry, I'm trying not to hiccup them, also about building Egil's confidence up on camera and getting him used to being on a live stream. Because live streaming is a good way in the future to make revenue from your super chats, and also a good way to interact with your audience. Because I think you get your videos are often shared more when you do a live stream. So and one day we might actually organise some live streams and have an actual set idea what we're going to talk about. So Andre Linarta's writing is for the brain dead. Zombies. It's not the same as the rigorous of the battlefield. Oh no. I mean, there's no honour in smashing a window, is there? You know. Yeah, so we do have a lot of playlists. I think we've got about 70 to 80 of them. So, do we have too many playlists? I don't know. And Andre Linard says, oi. Oh, tea. There's an idea. Be right back. Oh, do you have sugar in your tea? I like two in mine. I like it strong. And I always put the milk in last. Now, Chunky Monkey says, laugh out loud. Might I just point out that my last comment wasn't actually advice for legal reasons, but just a general comment. And may I point out that it was for legal reasons only, and just a general comment. Some days you've got to get your bit of cover over there, you know. Andre Lenore said, I didn't take it too seriously, and we've got an emoji. I don't know what's sure that one. It's got wide eyes, and I think that's a laughing, winking face. I don't understand a lot of these emojis. I need some kind of a book with like an explanation of the emoji and what it actually means. There's bound to be one out there somewhere, or a good website. And Martin Hale, could a shield wall stop the police? Well, I know in the 90s when the police did invite a Viking group, and I'm fairly certain it was one I belonged to, we completely trashed the police against a Viking shield wall against a police shield wall. The police had no chance. I suppose that's the only time you could beat up a police officer and get away with it. But never a good thing to do. Andre Linard says, does Egil have a bus pass yet? No, because he's not 66 until October, November. And then it's going to take a couple of months when to get it. So in theory is in 2021, you better get the bus up and come a little bit more often and not have to walk up and walk back, which is about a 5-mile round trip. So bear in mind that every time you see Egil, he's just walked 2.5 miles, although he's had free bacon when he gets here, a nice bit of food. He does have to walk back because my car's not on the road and I can't really justify spending what little money I have coming in being a carer. What is £65 a week you get from the government for being on carer's allowance, which to me is an insult when I'm doing 118 hours of care. I got like 3 jobs with that alone. It's like having 3 jobs, but a lot more stressful. So hopefully this time next year, he'll be coming up on a bus and he can come up whenever he wants. I'm always up for filming. I'm always up for filming Egil. I'm always up for doing live streams. Of course, if I can't do a live stream because I'm caring, then I can have Egil here and I can carry on doing what I've got to do in the housework and making cups of tea for my dad Magnar. He loves his tea and a bit of cake, a bit of crumpet. And Chunky Monkey says, anyone could trash the police these days. Well, they often trash themselves. But I kind of seen enough of the police for this year. Thank you. They've been around 7 times. It's a long story. Can't really go on about it. I've done nothing wrong. But it's just one of those situations. Wish I had a fairly long finger so I could stand over here and scroll down, but then I won't better read the text. I think my eyes are getting bad as I get older. I need to get my eyes tested this year. Under artists, that's why they have to wear head-to-toe protective cover. A bunch of sissies. Well, they're very much militarised, aren't they? You know, they're full padded out, you know. They've got the big armoured vehicles, water cannons. It's more like an army, really. And they forget what is the difference between a police officer and a constable. A police officer is serving the state, whereas a police constable, PC, should be serving you, the public. And they forget that. And never ever give your name to a police officer. when they come up to you, the first thing they'll ask is your name. By telling you your name, you're making a contract with them. So don't do that. So, Chunky Monkey says, Bragi, do you like Fred Dibner? I've been watching his videos this week on YouTube. Yes, my dad had an engineering company, or a big one, and we had a factory opened by Fred Dibner. Very nice man. I met him in real life a few times. He was very, very potty-mouthy. He could swear like a trooper. And some of the jokes he would tell you, oh, my God, I couldn't ever tell him on camera. He loved his beer, so he always wanted to go down the beer. So he's an amazing man. We do have some pictures downstairs of my dad, Magnar, with Fred. And because my dad had an engineering firm, Fred would come down and say, can you make this form a steam engine or do that? And my dad was always quite happy to do that for Fred. And what a lovely man. And, you know, he does get a bad name amongst the steam engineers of not being so good and a bit arrogant, but I never found that. I thought he was a lovely geezer. And, you know, he brought a lot of history alive, you know, in the 90s and the early 2000s. And I often do put those videos on for my dad. He does like to enjoy them. I was going to share them on the channel, on the community page, just to anybody who hasn't seen any of the videos from Fred Dibner. Amazing character. We don't get people like that no more. Hey, did you like that? So, yeah, amazing man. It was a pleasure to meet him a few times. So, Martin Hale, does Egil like Dane axe in reenactment fights? Well, no, not generally, no, because the Dane axe is a very, very tricky weapon to use effectively, because you can never get your full swing on. Yeah. Here's my famous singing Dane axe. So, when you're trying to swing in battle, I don't like the handle on this one actually, it's very difficult to be effective. You can use it as a jabbing kind of a spear to a degree. You grab the shield to help the guy next to you, but you can never really massively go in and do the full figure of 8 movement, which I can't really do here because I'm afraid I might hit my camera and then that'll be the end of the live stream. It might be the first live stream ended by Dane axe on YouTube. So, yeah, lovely sound. This is my favourite Dane axe because I like the handle on this one. As I got my scram, I told you that scram used to always pop out of my. Yeah, go back and behave yourself. So this is my favourite one. It's a bit loose at the moment. It needs to be put in some water, I think. Or normally what I'd do, I'll put that on an anvil, and then to get a very big hammer, sledgehammer, and smack it twice. That will sort it. But that's my favourite one. It's got a nice curved handle. That's just made out of a natural wood. You can see the bark here on both sides. And it's just been drawn out of a draw knife. But again, it's very difficult to use it effectively. And then some days I go on Instagram and I'm horrified by some of the pictures I see of combat, where somebody will have a spear and they're fighting with them like that up. And I think to myself, I'm going towards the head. The last thing you want is that going towards your head, because believe me, it will blind you in the eye and do a lot worse. So, and that is a blacksmith made spear rather than a modern manufactured one, which are much better. I don't really have one around here. So we have a comment here from Rich Hugon. So I'm not seeing you comment before, so welcome to the channel, Rich. Hope you're alright and keeping well. It would be great if you could do a Stamford Bridge or Whitby in any event. Will be in the future ever. Yes, well, we are looking at travelling in the future when I can travel. It's very difficult for me to travel at the moment. We have done one combat video where we kind of demonstrated what it would be like to fight on the bridge in my garden by having a narrow strip of land to fight on. So we do have a playlist on the combat videos. And we will do some more. I'm hoping one day Eirik will come up and we can train him up over a week and film a lot of combat videos on that. And I've been discussing with Egil about demonstrating some of the more basic peasant weapons, because somebody left a comment on that video of Anglo Saxon peasant weapons saying what a great video it was and how helpful it was. Because we don't often talk, we always talk about swords and axes, don't we? Dane axes. But how many times do we talk about the basic weapons? Your wooden clubs, you know, your pitchforks. There's lots of weapons that would have been used by the poor, we don't talk about. So, yeah, we've all looked to do that. I mean, Stamford Bridge was sort of a important battle, and I've been there a few times and taken part in the reenactment of Stamford Bridge. You know, perhaps we'll go and do some tours of the battlefield. You just got to bear in mind on the channel and bear with us. And a lot of this content we're saving until we're quite a lot bigger. So we've got a bigger audience. And plus it also takes a bit of time to film combat videos because they're not the most easiest thing to do. And we certainly have made mistakes in those videos in the past. Plus we've got nobody helping us with the filming. So I'm hoping my mate Stuart, who phoned up early on the video, Bad Stuart, will come along and join us as a cameraman and help. Because I'm more than happy to teach people how to film content for themselves. So just bear with us, and we will do more videos like that. I do have a long list of combat videos to film, so I've got a whole wall over there. Can't really show you, but it's just full of boards. There's about 10 to 15 boards, and they've all got handwriting on one of our content ideas. But I also use my tablet to do that as well, and I've got so many long lists of stuff on my tablets. It's unbelievable. Because I used to just write them down in note form and have long lists of notes. You know, every time I thought about an idea, I write it down. So I kind of move them over to my tablet. So we will demonstrate the Dane axe. We have done 2 videos on the Dane axe, and we will look to cover it again. Perhaps we'll get an old shield and try to demonstrate how lethal a Dane axe is. I've always wanted a sharp Dane axe. I do have a 4th one down my workshop, which is probably rusty as hell now. So perhaps I might convert that and make it sharp. So Andre Leonard says, hail witch, hail. Like I said, you're very welcome. Please share the content on this live stream on YouTube. I have been sharing things on Reddit a little bit, which is why we're getting a bit of an increase in our subs. And I think at the moment about 4% of our content watched from the last 28 days is from Reddit. So, oh, that was the Dane axe, Andre. Yeah, I think it again. This is my singing Dane axe. When you use it in battle, it sings. It goes for a long time. Good, isn't it? It's lovely. It's just been really nicely heated up. But you can see a fairly bad dint there, look, where it's being fought in combat. It really needs grinding away. You won't get away with that in reenactment. That would be illegal. And it's also got quite a thin edge, so it probably just wants grinding back, but I never really wanted to do it. It wants polishing next with some fine sandpaper to get rid of the some of these modern marks I got on it. And it needs a better handle because it's just an old straight handle. I don't like it. And the problem with this Dane axe is it's got a very small opening for the handle. If you look at the other one, you'll see the difference. Much smaller. So I'm very limited. I'm going to find a good piece of ash. I may go up to the old local wood and chop an ash tree down. So that noise was Andre. That could be the last orders call. So Irishman, I enjoyed your video about the weapons of the poorer Saxons. The Rummer hammer is something that would be in most homesteads. Oh yes, that's actually my hammer from the Civil War days. So that was my hammer I used to use to put my tent up. But it's such a diverse weapon. I mean, you'll get away with Iron Age to the modern age. I mean, hammers like that are still made. I mean, it could do a bit of metal banding around it, but metal in the Dark Age was scarce. That's why I never did it. And it's not that difficult for me to turn a new handle and a new hammerhead. And I did turn that one on a lathe years ago. It's getting old now. It's in the garage. And like I say, we often neglect and forget about, you know, the wooden clubs and your farm instruments, you know, from your hedging tool, you know, which you want this straight bladed tool. Well, I've got it around somewhere. Is that it? Oh, here we go. So stuff like this. I mean, this is an old hedging tool for doing hedge laying, but that's a very old design, that is. Some people call it a billock, I think. I forget now. It actually needs re-riveting on. I don't like that rivet. It looks aluminium to me. It needs a better handle. But if yours poor and you're going to battle, you didn't have a seax. Well, you would have a seax. Most people had a seax if you was free. But let's say you didn't have an axe at hand or a spear. Then you're going to battle with that. Although, fair enough, this is a sharp one. So you don't use sharp weapons in battle unless you come from Russia. But yet again, that is a very effective weapon when it was properly secured on the handle. It's a bit loose. But we don't often think about such things. We've got a maker's mark there. Who made that then? So we don't often think about the basic weapons. As it fell on the floor. I mean, Siax is about to come out again. Get back in there and behave yourself, Siax. Of course, you know, your simple knives. I mean, that's a lovely, my favourites. That's my eating knife. So, yeah, I was thinking about covering some more of the weapons from that video and doing individual videos on those weapons as well. And then perhaps combining with a combat video at the same time. But it would be interesting to demonstrate what a wooden club would be like in battle against a sword. And it's such a basic weapon to make. I mean, you often read it in the sagas where, you know, a Viking would not have a sword or axe, but he'll go and borrow an axe and go and chop down a branch of a tree and make a club. You know, why not? So, Andre Leonard says, cheers, monkey. Chunky Monkey says, was an axe. Andre Leonard says, very musical. Rings like a tuning fork. Yeah, I wonder what note it is. I'll have to get my on my mobile, on this mobile phone, I got a guitar tuner. I'm really curious now to find out what note it is. I've never done that. So Andre Leonard says, where do these weapons come from? I need an impressive axe. Well, a lot of axes we have are made from modern axes. So imagine this would be a modern felling axe, rectangular design tapering off, and then somebody will get the axe and they'll either spend hours and hours hand grinding the shape, or in this case they'll take it to an engineering firm and have it plasma cut out. So that's one way of making an axe, and a very easy way of making an axe. But of course the other way would be the fact that it would be forged. I often wonder about this axe, whether that mark there is actually rolling. Could be. Some people do rolled axes together. So, I mean, you can go to a car boot and pick up an axe for a couple of quid and spend 10 hours working on it, and you end up with a nice Viking axe. And the best axes out there are definitely the ones that are old, because the you know, older tools are much better than modern tools. They last longer. I mean, if I do have a lot of axes. I must have about 100 axes, heads. I've still got to work on. So you never know, I could always make you one. Get bored one day. You can have an axe from Bragi. So Andre Leonard says, my family were mostly woodsmen during the 18th and 19th century. My granddad had one of those choppers. Well, a woodsman is a very, very skilled job. And, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm just in awe, you know, about that, because it's just a wonderful thing, you know. They're truly craftsmen. They knew the woods, and they knew how to work the woods, and they knew how to make everything out of wood. They knew how to coppicing. Coppicing is a lost art to a degree, although it's getting more popular these days, coppicing, and more people are coppicing the woods again and tidying the woods up. So Irishman says, I asked a comment on one of your videos, is there sax with a long handle? And if so, what is it called? Now, I must have seen that comment. Have I not replied to it? I know I've got a few comments to reply to. I've been trying to get back onto that. I have to think about that. To me, having a very long handle doesn't make sense, because on a seax, you want a more of a short handle to make the balance. If you had a much longer handle, it kind of changes the balance of the blade to a degree. But then again, you know, there's been that many different designs of knives and, you know, tools over the years. You know, there's an unbelievable amount. So under re-enactors, that would work too. The online tuners are very accurate. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I used to tune my guitars with an old-fashioned tuner. One of those used to blow a pipe down as well. It's over there. But I've not played guitar for years. And under re-enactors, I'd happily pay for a long-handled Bragi axe. Oh yes. Kaiser Wilfred, I like spears for most battles as they were a common weapon. Yeah, well, every warrior should have a good 6 foot, 9 foot spear and go into battle with one. You know, you don't have to use it all the time. You can use it at the very beginning of the battle. And when it gets to the point where you think, well, it's time to drop the spear and go to an axe or a sword, then you do so. But, you know, a lot of people would have carried one because they're so useful. And especially if you've got a spear and you can chuck it forehand in battle. That'll take one dude out, wouldn't it, if you're good. But I made all sorts. Here's a helmet I made years ago. I made that when I was 16. When I was doing my apprenticeship in engineering. A guy called Dave Taylor gave me a hand with that. And did quite a bit of the work too. The thing I don't like about it, it was copied from a picture, is that these cheek plates aren't long enough. They should have been another inch longer. They're just not quite that long enough, aren't they? And you can see it inside. I'll put it on for you. I mean, even before I was a Viking re-enactor, I had Viking kit. But it was the one I used to wear a lot on battle because it fits it was made for my head exactly. But I never liked these cheek plates. They're just too short for my liking. And I never really liked these hinges too much. They're a little bit weak. And I've had to put some links of mail to keep them on there. But that got blacked up with heat. Although you can do it chemically. You can buy a chemical blacking to black up your metal. But often what a lot of people do was put the helmets in the oven. If you've got a shiny helmet, put it in the oven for a few hours at your highest temperature, it will blacken it up over time. I'm missing my hat now. I don't feel the same about a hat. There we go. I could have changed hats there and have a different hat on. No, I didn't think about that. So, I mean, it must have been, I was about 16, so I got into Viking reenactment about 8 years after that. No, we've got a comment here from Phoebe Graveyard. Do you have any weapons made with Damascus steel? No, I don't really. I do have a pattern mould stored somewhere, but I don't know where that is. And I got a pattern molded little knife about that long, which Egil gave me. I wouldn't mind having some Damascus steel. It's very nice quality made stuff. But often impractical as a combat weapon. Because you don't spend hundreds of pounds on a nice Damascus or pattern molded seax or sword and have it for combat. That makes sense. Plus you never get away with the regulations. They all have to be made out of AM45 spring steel or AM44 for combat. But I'd just like to say welcome to the channel, Phoebe. Hope you're well during the old coronavirus crisis. And bearing up. And a warm welcome to the channel. Give a warm welcome, guys and girls. I always like welcoming people on this channel. I mean, I must have a good memory because I can remember who I've welcomed and who I've not welcomed. Whether we're going to do that in 5 years' time and we've got thousands of subs, I don't know. You know, we'll see. Give me a second. My friend Stuart phoning up. I'm still live. So, sorry, I don't have my call from my friend there, so I need to keep calling me back up.
what, just control, and no doubt he'll call me in half an hour. Apologise about that, but that was Stuart anyway. I don't really hear his voice. Lovely man. So now I sound like a Dalek. Exterminate. Yeah, that was my real voice. Here's another one on camera. So, the Nova State, Stock Station, all on the go there. Every part of the world. So Martin Hale says, have you ever heard of Paul Binns, a sword maker? Yes. I think I've got at least 4 or 5 of his blades. Not my usual one. In my chest down there, I've got a war chest down there for the swords, so that's thinking there. So I got at least 3 or 4. The best swords I got are called Benby blades. The late Paul Binns look like, with the thickness are really got solid. He's often said he'll never break a Benby blade. Actually, I don't know. Benby not been around since the 80s, I don't think. But Paul Binns, very nice man, met him a couple of times. He used to be able to buy the blades off him. My original sword was a Paul Binns, and that cost me £100. A guy bought the blade and put a pommel on and the handle and the hostile. But, you know, if you can get a Paul Binns blade for £100 today, you'll be very, very lucky. He's got the Anglo Apprentice. There's a practice David, he's gone on his own now, making swords. He's also said to be very, very good, but it's a bit cheaper than Paul Binns. But they call him a Binsy, that's what they call him. You've got a Binsy blade, you just call it a Binsy. I mean, no doubt it'll go down in fame and for him out of quite a kit. But I do have a lot of kit made by a guy called Igor Lawton. And he was the man who made the something to do that was going forward. Museum, and my children's up there. I don't think they get much out of that. People barely to take my shoe off. I say that feels like a proper shoe. It really does. A lot of in re-enactment, you'll get a pair of shoes for £50. They're very poorly made and poorly fitting, and if you think of age, but that is as solid as the shoe you can get. It's good of course. Sequence is higher for the extra bit sewn on compared to a normal straight boot that will be the segment this here. That will be a lot of better finishing down the shoulder and where they are. Like that in camera. Yeah, shoe, and that shoe, and then their shoe. Because I've got to sit down now, that's what people thought I don't book it. Because I like to put the shoe on. Oh, my head's going on. Yeah, we sit down and sit down. I didn't buy them, I was giving them, and I think the guy I got them off paid £600 for those shoes. Not many people go around spending £600 for shoes, and that was 20 years ago. So I take the money when you're charging now, you just make museum quality pieces. I made a few pair of shoes in my time, but I've really made a pair of shoes like that before. In fact, one day I like that piece of shoes. That's it. That's what I really got into heavily. I got these shoes. What you do though when you've been walking around or down camp, you know you've been wearing them. It's hard wearing. And you don't wear 2 pair of socks. You wear boots. I do recommendations, wear 2 pair of socks. Your first pair should be a thin pair, and the second pair should be something, I'll take one with the sound. Is it better now? Just let me know. You can always restart the live stream. Is it any better now? We're having lots of network difficulties in the area. The mobile networks have been very bad. I don't know what's buzzing. I could try restarting the live stream. That's an option. There's nothing buzzing in this room. a ghost. This house is haunted, you know. It's not this section, the obvious section, the old section. Definitely got a ghost in it. If I can make a buzzing noise, that'd be better. Okay. I didn't see a big one look down. No. It's what I don't like. The Anglo Saxon and Viking hate loss was much to read it. I was getting you drinking all and standing on your bit of meat on your wooden plate. I was still buzzing. But I mean, as an annoyed, not as in happy to know that money and I was buzzing. Oh yeah, come and go out. Yeah. I think that's what people buzzing. You don't really hate the buzz. I was still buzzing. Did that do anything? Other than that, don't change the camera around. I've done that before. I don't know how to get out of it. Nope, I'm on 12 now. Hang on. I'm going to go to this. Get to that. Get that camera. That there is the other side of the room. There we go. Go back again. Now that made a difference. You've got to see the other side of the long authentic room there. I don't have to live in a long house. I know some people that like to make the attempts that we live in a long house. Because you often think, if you're rich and you live in a long house and you've got more, you play hanging on the walls. Because let's face it, wooden walls are a bit boring. And you have such things as pictures in those days. If not, I'll end the live stream and start again. See if that does anything. Let me end it and start again. I can't think what I'm buzzing. Right, hang on, I'm going to end the live stream and restart. Right. Hang on. Wait for the notification and we'll see if that does it. But I've got to figure out how to end it first. It's never that easy on me. Never easy, this is our Bragi stores and the live.
Right, we're back again.